time to go all in.
And now the river card.
With the best players in the world.
It's a jack.
At the highest stakes.
The new main event champion.
Poker Go is streaming all the action.
I'm all in.
Can he seal it? Yes, he can.
Live on all your devices. Original shows.
Helmuth wins the championship.
And over 100 days of exclusive live events.
As the deuce, the river comes home.
This has got to be your first in the history of poker.
Get in the game. Subscribe now at pokergo.com.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We have another day of high-stakes action for you. Yesterday we finished the £1 million event. Congratulations to Shunu Aaron Zhang for taking that one down. Bryn Kenny coming second, taking over the top spot of the all-time money list. We're on the Hilton, Park Lane, the fancy part of town, Mayfair. And we have a lot of action for you guys today. This is the Triton Super High Roller Series here in London. Today we have two final tables for you. Yesterday you enjoyed the cast from Nanonoko and Jeff Gross till late in the night, 50k final table. We will show that heads up in an hour from now between Charlie Carroll and Jason Kuhn playing for £1.3 million. And before that we're going to kick off with the 25k Turbo 6-max final table. We're seven-handed. Now you might wonder, why are we seven-handed when it's a six-handed tournament? It's to make the final table bubble more fair. This way there's two tables of 4 that go to a final table instead of one table of 4 and one table of 3. And here we see the 7 players. You see on in the bottom ranks there 1.5 million chips, which is about 15 big blinds, or pretty much exactly 15 big blinds. Chip leader came third yesterday in the 50k, busting right before the end. Linus, I guess, and he is playing 51 big blinds. Very dangerous player to have a ton of big blinds, but no shortage of dangerous players at this table. So we're playing for £700,000, more or less. Runner-up will receive 466. Everybody guaranteed 122,000, so almost 5x the buy-in. Great return for any of these guys, but they're really eyeing the top spot, of course. Because we have two featured tables, we can actually bounce back and forth and show you all the highlights that you want to see from these tables. So first hour is going to be solely the 6-max. After that we're going to be bouncing back and forth also in the heads up between Jason Kuhn and Charlie Carroll. If Charlie's previous performance was anything to go on, it's going to be pretty chatty. And then later today we kick off the £100,000 main event as well, so tons of poker for you guys today, continuous coverage. My name is Lex Veldhuis. Timothy Adams there getting 7th yesterday. Michael Soiza in the 1 seat. 2 seat, I guess. They're just squaring up for TV. Alright, so Michael Soiza. Let's see if he moves over. I think so. I think he's sitting in front of Linus' deck.
We're about to start 100k non-stop elimination. Just going to drop the button on table number 3.
Looks like no one is
21 blinds, 2 million chips.
Man, it's better than playing yesterday and there was 500 people here and you couldn't hear.
Did you see how he played the 50k?
Yeah, I heard.
It was like fireworks going off, like a light show.
I moved away. And you guys moved table to the other side.
We were like in this little corner.
Yeah. Whatever, you know. You guys are important.
Yeah, me too. You got like 4.1 or something?
Yeah.
pretty similar.
3.7.
It's quite even stacks actually.
Linus, you have 5
He's
million.
there.
5K in your
Lucas Greenwood.
stacks of white.
Second in chips.
Unlucky.
Scoring the table for camera angles. Timothy Adams. Third in chips, so 2 events, 2 final tables for him. It's gonna be pretty disappointed. Busted in a 60 big blind pot with kings versus ace 10 against Vivek on the final table yesterday. Really disheartening. What a big pot he played, he got massively bluffed by Big Al. Had a mediocre holding though, but all the more power to Big Al for sniffing that one out. Carry gets there as well, 25Ks. Crushes those, we've been talking a lot about carry cats. The mob is insane. He does play small fields, but when he goes deep, most of the finishes seem to be top 4. So Linus was playing, looking at Sion here. Linus was playing till deep at night in the 50K, got third. Very nice score for him there as well. He cashed for £600,000, so really making a splash on the live scene. Did extremely well in some online tournaments late last year as well.
Can I please get a green?
Here is Gary Katz.
Okay.
What are we doing?
We playing. Blind, please, guys.
We are playing.
Bottle of silver.
How much is the blind?
50,100,000.
And can I also have a green tea?
This fucking constant counting again.
Oh, you got big blind.
Yeah, here's one block.
You said you had 2, right?
2,055,000. It's a wrong clock. What the hell clock is that?
I mean, I went to bed, I woke up, had a coffee, and then here.
Oh, that's yesterday's clock. Oh, they're playing. They're playing.
I know my chip
Okay,
count.
that's interesting.
That's all that matters.
We're off.
Are we starting with the first level? Oh my 530 blind 1,000, England 0, 1,000. I wish you all the very best of luck. Leaders, welcome to this.
5 seconds. Right.
Gary Katz starting with a very solid hand here.
Are those stacks of 40?
Yes, sir.
Leuliger. 50 big blinds. I'm gonna assume that it's Leuliger because it's spelled exactly the same like they spell Manik Lozer's last name. And the OE can be a replacement of the O with 2 dots on it. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Alright, top pair for Linus.
If I check, then you're going to bluff at it on the turn. I'll give you that opportunity.
He probably would.
Looks like it's inside.
It's so funny that he announces that though.
Don't prove me wrong.
$275.
That's 275. Oh.
It's a good try, Carrie. It's a good try.
I mean, I can predict the future, look.
Huh?
You can predict the future.
Was it a bluff though?
Good point.
We don't know.
Soon find out.
Stream.
30 minutes.
That is a good flop for
you?
any big blind expected hand.
Especially Linus big blind range, 100%.
It is wide. So I'm in there with the 5 deuce on day 1 of this tournament. So this tournament kicked off on day 1 here in London. Took a 3-day break
You have killed, you're like 3.
for the final
Three
table.
points.
We get bet on the
So this
line,
was the
you
warm-up
get bet on
event
the
that you
river.
guys saw
After he's posted. Well, there's a lot of
3.655.
different rivers on this.
on
Have you selling me
Wednesday.
short that 55, alright?
Lost track of time.
I wish I could have it, but maybe later.
Thank you.
Ludiger is gonna be very active from the blinds.
5 seconds. Great.
Should just min raise it after he was folding. Should have made it 200.
Place these cards in the muck, then check.
Diet Coke plus ice. No lemon.
I was sort of hoping they would start this at like 3.
100?
Yeah.
That would make some.
I mean, I hope I get in there as late as possible, obviously, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I like to play these 20s from the
Same time.
start.
Yeah, I get it. I understand.
Right.
The cash game stuff going, you know?
Yeah. I guess
It's more fun.
100% it's more fun. The big blind poker's not exactly the best game.
Known for a poker player.
Grinding.
Yeah. When you're playing for all the money in the tournaments and it's real short and there's not much skill.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, this it moves 15 seconds.
World Series of cash games
Jason
probably not a
Kuhn
thing
and,
that would happen there.
Charlie are playing, so it moves to our one and that one. Every 15 seconds. Yeah, there you go. Like 38K or something.
They were there yesterday too. Did you notice?
Yeah.
Fancy new pants.
They got, they got 4 tables.
Super comfortable. I can
Yeah,
bring
but
them
all,
on.
like,
Legit, yeah, I know, it looks legit.
Is it that bad?
All high rollers.
Not sponsored.
Unless
Yeah, not sponsored, like
Some
legit
strong aces here.
recommendation.
Both players 40 big blinds deep though.
I mean,
Could definitely see fireworks. If this goes down to 20 big blinds,
That is true.
very common to see
a lot of people are just
all-ins happen here.
party in or whatever.
yeah, a lot of people are like.
Do you know how much you have exactly?
There's no
Started the day with 4.1.
incentive
So it'd be 4 now,
I have
right?
4.
unless you're just like a beef stack player.
Yeah, I can tell you're good at flips, even in the 50.
So the black chips are 100. The white ones,
They're
25k. Blue ones are 5k.
To get people to show up on time and just charge a little extra.
King 10 handles your hand. You win that
So
one.
I think people who show up on time should get some sort of benefit anyway. So once, building the pot early.
This is actually a
Yeah.
really nice spot for ace 10.
Also, like once.
Yeah, half the stacks.
On.
20 bigs, that was just 20 bigs.
For example, people are attracted to is.
Puts the screws on. Timothy Adams. Very common for people to limp shove with ace highs. Limp calling gives your opponent
Hit 3.4.
Me?
a free flop, a free look at it.
Oh yeah. You chip later.
Lines.
Usually see it with ace with a little bit smaller kicker. Definitely be an adjustment because you're playing against Timothy Adams, one of the best players in the world.
Did we already get the 5 time banks to make the final table?
Yeah.
And it's
Because I had none. Now I have 5.
That was a stupid waste of time bank.
The big danger is you get like
Long time ago.
5 wizards at the table. And then you're gonna have like 20 tables.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Jason ran out of time, man.
we also definitely get the thing where everybody does the.
Who heads up in no time banks? That's tough. How many bigs deep are there? Like 40 each or something?
Everybody just needs to see like 2 people at the table who they think they're better than, right? And then they're like, okay, I got this.
Very welcome sides here for
Blinds are
Gary
still
Katz.
100, right?
Yeah.
Right. 200.
Well, punish me with that big stack.
I like how talkative Gary Katz is. I always like him at the table. He always does this too. Even in the middle of hands, he's just talking. He's kind of making jabs. He makes some comments on what he expects his opponents to do. It's fun, you know. It doesn't change anything. It just makes it more relaxed watching, better atmosphere.
They didn't have, they weren't open in this restaurant.
That's weird. Say what?
Lobby.
The lobby's supposed to be open.
Kitchen was closed.
Oh, I didn't know.
Until 12:30.
I'm opening light. You know that.
Oh, you guys came down late after 11, right? That's why. Yeah. Breakfast ends at 11, I guess.
Could I just get us open water? Yeah.
For 3 days. Big shopping snack. Huh?
I had a
I needed Linus to get like 8 to 10.
I had a column of welding here.
You can definitely tell that Linus's
If I was the 5 and I would have called him.
reputation precedes him. He hasn't been playing live that long. Everybody knows he's one of the most feared online cash game players. Adjusted really well to tournaments.
Can we get the clock reading the actual tournament we're in? But
Every 15 seconds it rotates.
Linus, it saved you
Because
500.
they're playing heads up as well. Because I don't think
Saved
they're
500.
where are they playing heads up?
somewhere, I don't know.
Over there?
That's what we're raised, right?
Yeah,
Like
so
500.
It's just the system is such, eh?
Yeah, 550 maybe.
Ooh. It's very disappointing.
All in?
How much is that, you maniac?
2 million
What,
and 5,000.
what did the chart say? Like positive 2% if you jam that?
Maybe 0.1%. Linus is on my left, man. What can I do?
Yeah, good point.
True story.
Jeez.
Takes it down.
I forgot. You don't like playing short.
I'm just happy to
I
be
haven't played
here,
with
man.
you that much.
Yeah, actually not that much. Maybe the Aussie Millions final table we won, you know. That one we played a bit. And you busted me with queens, Ajax suited.
Yeah?
Yeah, the 100K.
What did I have? I had a better hand.
Yeah, queens, your queens, yeah.
Oh,
Of course.
yeah.
Of course you had a better
I always
hand,
have
man.
a better hand.
You always have a better hand. Yeah, it's very rare that I see you get it in bed ever.
He doesn't remember.
That's
He's
my
won so many
problem.
hands. How could he possibly remember that one?
Yeah, true. But he was just complaining, you know, man, I'm down like 8 buy-ins in 100Ks this year, man. I'm doing so bad in January. Next thing you know, bink.
He's like, I'll take those back.
Yeah. I have them all back and some interest.
That's
well.
that's how you know Kiyo's a great player. He knows right when to complain.
Yeah, right then.
It is amazing when you start
The win and receive technique.
Win and
Tried and true.
Yeah. That's Danny's core strategy as well, like just winning, losing every day. Run so bad. Bink 50K.
It was like 13 in a row or something, so I was kind of tilted. You should never start counting. It's like statistically impossible.
Yeah, from the Bahamas, right? Yeah, PSVC until then.
Yeah, the Bahamas was just a disaster.
Yeah, it was like 13 in a row, but I
Like
think
the
he
worst start of the year I've ever had. Bahamas, I usually do well, so those events are so good.
Yeah.
I guess those events are gone.
Not really, not that good. This year wasn't that good, Bahamas.
No.
Yeah.
25K. The Bahamar 25K was amazing.
Yeah, didn't go for that one.
Oh. I bubbled it.
That's the one 10 mil guaranteed or something, right?
Yeah. That
You
was,
bubbled it? Oh dear. No wonder you remember.
yeah, no, I made it kind of a dumb jam with.
Aces?
There were like 5 or 6 guys with like 1 or 2 bigs.
Right.
I had like 13.
What do you have? Kings.
Chance opened on the button, which he was a chip leader. He's going to open up 100%. I was in the small blind. I jammed 5s.
Yeah. Okay, maybe not.
Huh?
Yeah, maybe not 5s.
Yeah,
That's surprising. I thought you had maybe jacks or something. I don't know, like something really.
no.
I see a turn. Really bad flop for
I was
ace
worried
king.
about bowling.
Yeah, obviously not.
But I should have just called. But I did.
Can't even just fold actually. If it's 1 BB stacks. Come
No,
on.
I'm not folding for 1 blind.
Never know.
using the green with checks the turn. I like it. Big chance his opponent has a hand similar than ace king and he's not folding anything better, so what does a bet really accomplish?
No, it was last year.
Last year? Was it last year? Are you sure?
Yeah, it was the first time I ever played Barcelona.
First one is small though.
Yeah, maybe last year. I forgot.
It was a big 10K. It was a lot.
It's like 300K or something, I think.
Yeah,
Is the big tank is at the end?
Yeah, it's not the big one. It was the first one. Yeah.
Very small bets.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly what Burns has.
I get it in like ace. Never mind. Bad beat, sorry. Fuck that. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I mean, I ran deep in the second one and I got fucked. GG. Will you go Barcelona?
If I was or if I'm going?
If you're going.
Yeah, I'm going. But I'll just play the 100.
8?
Maybe later I just did the main event, I guess.
Yeah. 10K maybe? For the fans, man. Linus for the fans. Come on.
Maybe the late one.
Yeah, the big one.
Register.
Yeah.
The 25 is there.
Yes, quite a few actually. Turbos, yes. A few single days.
Alright, quick update. Linus Leliger, 52 big blinds still. Not much has changed. Sion didn't really get anything going. Dropping down a little bit. Gary Katz and Michael Soiza winning a few pots.
By the way, congratulations on the stellar performance in the 1 mil.
Disaster performance.
Please. Team carry Bryn,
Oh, that performance.
Yeah.
Bryn's performance was stellar.
Yeah, I mean.
No, I probably made the biggest mistake I've made in years. That's right. Cool. Very nice squeeze opportunity. Just saying, trying to help.
Gary Katz had a good night's sleep.
$250.
Yeah, 250.
Gary Katz gonna continue with the bottom pair. Or bet rather. I like that Burns checked his board before with ace king and now he checks when he hits as well. Ding, ding, ding. What a great turn for Katz. I mean, 10-9 was already a straight. The only thing that gets there on the 6 is pocket 6s and 9-5. Nobody will assume Kerry has either of those hands. So this is a very disguised 2-pair for him. It's 1.5 million in the middle already. Kerry's playing 2 million total.
I'm all in.
I like this all in. This is one of those scenarios where an all in.
Don't see how I can match that, but how much is it, please? Can you just pause it while you count it?
It's around 2 mil, I think.
It's one of those situations where if you go all in, you look slightly weaker.
Suited. You wouldn't be doing something silly and going all in with Queen Jack, would you?
Burns doesn't trust it yet.
No, you wouldn't do that.
1.6.
Let's find out how much though.
1.67. Yeah, that's 1.675.
It's a big bet.
It's 1.7.
Big bet. What about Ace Jack? You wouldn't do it with Ace Jack, would you?
Can you beat Ace Jack?
Got some stuff here.
I don't know. I know, you called 250 on. You gotta have a big hand. That's 180. So I think it's
Let's find out how much.
1.880.
Just trying to think. Trying to think. Never be Queen Jack. Couldn't be. Could it be King Jack? I don't know. Could it be 7-8? Yes. Could it be 2 7s? Yes. Could it be 2 8s? Yes, it could. How much?
1.880.
Fold.
Wow, good fold by Burns. Really sniffed it out well. One of the first things he said is 7-8 suited.
Half an hour carry, and then I get to know the good or bad news.
You know what was sick? Yesterday was this hand Jason played. He just overbet shoved the flop on the ace high flop.
Yeah.
And then his cards were not shown on the stream. It was like, what the fuck? Everybody's like, what the fuck? How is
You know what, I
this?
might have forgotten to put those in the box.
Jason. It's like a, 5x pot, open shove on the flop.
What? I think that was
Jason opens, the guy, there's no way it's a
Jason
big
can?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
Jason-
folded, you were behind.
50K?
Huh?
Yeah.
You
It's
folded,
like a
you were
raise call,
behind.
big blind, flop is ace high, check, 5x pot.
Could be chopping.
Ace 8-6
Yes,
flush draw.
yes.
You got Ace Jack?
Could I be chopping if I had Ace Jack?
Yes.
Ace?
Ace 8-6
Nah,
flush draw.
I got worse than Ace Jack, so I'm not winning.
I don't think
Ace
you folded.
8-6,
I
two
think
diamonds or
betting
something.
flop with Ace Jack.
Check, 5x pot all in.
Yeah.
5x.
5x
Jack,
pot all in. And then his cards were
Yeah,
not
very
shown,
nice
but his
draw.
cards were on the sensor. I was like, come
King
on.
and the
man,
Jack.
Are you kidding me? How can we not see this
I'll
hand?
find out you have an half
So
an
it
hour.
was 5x pot.
It was-
Well,
You naughty
not
boy.
Like miscounted or something.
Unless the numbers were wrong, it was like 5x pot, yeah. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, sure. I was annoyed.
That can't be right.
Unless the numbers were wrong, I don't know. I mean, I
No,
asked.
it looked like that.
Yeah, it's like 5x pot. It's me and you, yeah?
Yeah, he jammed 4x.
5x pot.
Carry.
I was watching the stream yesterday. I was having a good laugh at your suit with the
All in?
Columbia Sportswear hat.
Yeah, to be honest, it's just the lights. I'm sensitive to light. And
No, I
the
don't-
lights are so fucking bright. Like, I tried to even today do it, and it's just like, I get a headache.
No, yeah, I don't get a headache.
1.8, 1.7.
You know, I'd enjoy it.
We'll find out.
Yeah, sure I had.
Right, blind on blind. This is not
I'd beat you a poker go
a
now.
snap call for Leuliger. He does not want to lose the chip lead.
Get one of the
Canadian
Having the
best.
chip lead is
call and call.
Alright.
very valuable. Does make the call.
Somebody was saying the stand-up's
Six
outdated.
is too
so
strong in a big blind.
Huh?
That's what I
Somebody
meant
saying
about
standing
the
was
flag
outdated.
approach.
Knowing that
so I was
Soiza's
like,
also going to go all
You've
in
been
with
good at
hands like
stand-ups in the
King
past.
5
yeah, I have
suited,
been, but fuck it.
Ace
Try
deuce
something new.
offsuit.
Okay.
There's way more overcards than there are overpairs, so 6 is just going to do.
You don't be flipping against Linus. He's
Pretty
not
well.
So pure. Oh, sorry about that.
He has to lose someday, he says.
He did
That's the
say
reason
that.
why he gave it a little thought. Early on in the tournament would be snap call.
Uh-oh.
That's
Too good.
He remains
You
pure.
got a couple of turns.
Yeah.
You have quite a lot of turns.
Uh-oh.
8 or Jack.
You're
Four is
almost,
nice.
you're almost,
Seven's okay.
you're almost guaranteed to
Seven's
sweat.
okay.
It doesn't even have
Picture?
to sweat.
Or
He's a
7.
dog for a sweat.
7, yeah.
Almost guaranteed.
Almost. Okay.
Okay. GG. Good game, boys.
Good game, buddy.
Michael Soiza, our first elimination today.
Luck in the 100.
He is going to win £122,000. The rest of the field guaranteed £160,000, which is roughly $200,000.
Gary put you in the blender.
Straight in the blender.
There's 100K there for Linus.
Yeah. He said, get in the box, kid. All of the cheese. And I said, come on, Carrie. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we just check?
I didn't think a lot of good could happen by seeing one more card, frankly.
Yes, it's the best reasonable.
I've seen Kerry put people in the blender. He's got his tricks.
If I had ace jack, I might have had to pay carry my monies. I don't know. Wouldn't have been happy about it.
No, you could have sucked out.
Could have.
I wouldn't want Linus going with outs.
I'll show you playing.
Come on, Linus. You got to learn to count at some point. We're not all your slaves, okay?
I'll
tell you this one time, and then you're going to make an attempt to count from now on, okay?
He's used to
We've got a 2.6, we've got a 2.9, we've got a 3.5.
Oh,
okay?
I find these black chips.
What's that? How old are you? 28.
If you're making a transition into these games, because people don't have to tell you, they can say, it's that much, sir. So you want to be able to move yourself, right? Yeah.
Important to be able to eyeball a stack.
Yeah, true. Exactly, that makes sense.
You the same age?
No, I'm 33.
Really?
What?
You look young.
Yeah, he looks like he's.
They're stacks of 1 mil, Kerry?
I'm saying like.
No, they're 30s.
You've been around for at least 10
30.
It's the 750s.
You're mixing it up, huh?
Well, I don't have enough for 340s, so I'm trying to
all
give
right.
you at least some chance to count it. If Bonomo was here, I'd stack him in 32s.
Just to fuck with him?
Just to torture him. $400. 400.
Gary really mixing it up with his bet sizing. Definitely not always required to go small on an ace-high board.
Yeah, you should be happy.
Can't beat that one.
All right, because of you, Cal, I can do them in 40s now. Catching up to you.
It is important to learn how to eyeball stacks when you look at something and you know approximately how much it is, so you don't always have to ask. Also, because sometimes asking could give some information away, like you're trying to plan something out or.
No. I'm not facing min range that type of hand, not at all in.
Feeling
Not unattractive.
12 big blinds with pocket deuces. You're
No,
forced to
it's
go all in, but you really don't like it.
Just looking at Linus, he's trying to count the stack.
Did you tell me how much it was or not?
I did tell you. But if the same trend's continuing from yesterday, where I'd fold one hand, it would be exactly the same, and you'd ask me again.
Yeah, you gotta kind of like keep it digitalized in your head.
To memorize them.
Yeah, your verbal short-term memory seems non-existent.
I'm sure you've done that before. You're in the middle of a hand, you just picture it out.
I'll write it
in your
down.
head, like play it out.
Yeah. You're a visual type of guy. I'm a visual guy too.
The funny thing is, the first thing Alina said when he got to the table is, "Oh, I have to count all these stacks again," and he was just looking around the table and tormented.
Price Jen there, Tim. The dream. You could pop it up to see if I'm limping with something big.
Not many people give the in-hand commentary like Gary does.
Yeah, exactly.
Make the right decision.
I have an easy job today. Carrie do the talking.
Hold in. Are you hoping for a snap call?
Snaps never know. Even with aces.
That's a great result there.
Sure.
For Sion.
Probably had one ace.
Like, okay.
He is from England, so maybe it's science.
Scared of the limp? Like 1 in 6 times.
Where did you finish yesterday in the 50K?
Disaster.
Fourth.
Fourth?
Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
I'm not sure where I was. I think that was actually might have been 1 of 7 at one
Old
point.
man limping under the gun.
Yeah.
So we got 3 tournaments for you guys today. 25k final table. It was just the opening event.
I had like 6 big blinds or something. Then I actually got triple to 4-handed and then I was out very soon after.
Okay, so
Did not want to conflict it with the £1 million.
Yeah, it was a slow start and then.
There was like nobody's jams got called for like an obscenely long amount of time.
Seen a flop.
Price 300.
This card's bent.
Yeah, that's blatantly bent actually.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Everyone's got to be super careful peeling the cards.
Yeah.
Short stutter there. Apologies.
You feeling better? Like you feel okay?
Yeah, no, I felt better after that day one.
So like I was saying, we have 3 tournaments for you. We're finishing the 25k. We have the 50k heads up. Also the £100,000 main event starting.
I'm saying Bryn's win helps a little bit as well.
I'll tell you, I'm
saying,
so glad he chopped.
Because that you would have been raging tilt today.
That would have been.
You would have just come
worse.
here.
It would have been a lot worse for him.
Yeah. I know he wanted to obviously still win.
He had like the biggest piece I think he's ever had.
Did they play for something or?
Yeah, they played for 1.1 million pounds, which in the grand scheme is like a lot.
No.
If you're gonna chop as a chip leader, chopping at 8 when you're up 8-1, it's probably a good time to do it.
Yeah, it was a big heads up. Like.
Because at that point, he doesn't have that big of a skill advantage, right? Because it's just pretty much Aaron's just going all in with anything.
The blind's that big.
Pretty big, yeah. Because Aaron was just so short, you know. But 3 double ups, he wins.
Yeah.
He was gonna gamble.
All right, there we see Michael Soiza dropping first, £122,000 for his efforts. Line is richer than before, across the 7 million mark. Carry Cat slowly, steadily moving up. Cyan still short, but chipped up a little bit. See, the champion will receive £700,000. Everybody guaranteed $160,000 now. So new level now. 60k, 120k. The big blind will pay the ante for everybody. This will speed up the game. There's barely any influence on the strategy.
Ooh.
Negligible.
Trying to catch.
120 big? Yeah.
I have like
40.
What?
3.6, 3.7.
Lilliger is gonna try to force things wherever he can as a chip leader. Should get a ton of folds from everybody. Probably not from this hand though. Luke Greenwood, second in chips.
Going like 4.5 to start?
Yeah. 1, 2.
Actually, I think we're closer to even.
It's a pretty bad flop for
Hard
Greenwood.
to get 30 bigs out of you. Did you get like?
And you as well. I've learned from you.
Yeah.
Feel very safe in the middle between you two.
140.
Learn what not to do.
First thing I always look at is what sizing does somebody use. 'Cause that tells the most about somebody's plan. Also, how he approaches board texture. You also give your opponent different options when you use different bet sizings. If you use a big bet, they have less options. If you use a small bet, you can bet more, but they also have more options. Really awesome to see that the £1 million event was also broadcasted on PokerGo. Kerry Katz, of course, El Jefe, as Nick Schulman and Ali Najad like to call him.
Stretch these legs.
So with Soiza gone, Greenwood finds himself in a really tough position. He's one of the people that's going to get pressured the most by Leuliger because he has so much to lose. There is a short stack. Cyan pretty short. Another 20 big blind stack at the table. And with the money jumps, it's really important for Greenwood to not bust first. The shorter the other stacks at the table, the more likely you're going to make money jumps, especially if you have a nice cushioned stack like Greenwood does. We saw Linus in a similar situation. I believe it was on day one. Re-raised with 8-7 offsuit from the big blind for this exact reason. That's why he puts pressure here with King 5 offsuit. That is the world for Luke. It's a double-sided coin though. On one side, he's gonna abuse people having the chip lead. On the other, it's important for him not to lose the chip lead because then other people can do it to him. So covering everybody is very important. Small bets. He's gonna get lots of folds from Luke also because it's very likely Leuliger will bet on the turn in the river, exercising that pressure that we talked about. That might slow him down. He does have the emergency spade, by the way. That's pretty interesting, so he needs a spade or a king.
$850.
He's gonna bet it. See, this is where it's just cool to watch somebody like a Leuliger play, because I just kind of expect that he's gonna check. See how he fares. His king might be good. He beats a 9. He beats some like 6-7 suited type stuff. But he just wants to put pressure. So he's like, my king could be good, but whatever. I just want to put pressure. I just want to play it fast, make his life miserable out of position. Greenwood's still going to be really comfortable with ace-9. Doesn't like the spade, of course. Leuliger is going to be way too aggressive in this situation to be too afraid of ace-king here, though.
Call.
Greenwood announcing call right as the timer ticks down. There is that emergency spade coming into effect. Disaster for Greenwood.
Check.
QPO. Sorry? QPO.
That's a rough one. Greenwood now down to 25 big blinds. Linus gets richer. Up to 9 million now. And the bigger the stack disparity he's going to get, the more he's going to put the pressure. Because of those payouts, the pay jumps now become more and more important for everybody. If another stack drops lower too, all of a sudden, more people have a chance at climbing the ladder.
Is it Linus or Linus? Linus?
All this stuff is what people often refer to as ICM.
How do you pronounce it in Swiss?
Linus.
Exactly.
Like O, I is like E. Okay. Right.
Who won? Who won the 50K?
They're heads up.
Haven't played it out yet.
Jakun and Charlie.
Who?
Jakun and Charlie. Jason Kuhn?
No, he's done like 10 bigs. That's surprising.
That one, need 20 in the middle too, right?
Yeah.
Price 275.
Wins. Premiums.
That was a tough one for Luke. He's among the middle stacks now. He lost his number 2 spot. Everybody's getting closer together, and everybody together is moving further away from Linus. Makes hands like this a lot less strong than they actually are. I really like this fold from Carey. I really do. There's a definite table short stack. There's some other guys in trouble. Actually, Carey is one of the bigger stacks now at the table. So, kind of taking turns who's going to get the most abused by Linus. And we might just see an all-in here from Linus, and this would be crazy normally if you put stacks at different positions. That's why he's asking how much Timothy Adams has.
4, 3, 5.
He wants to see how much he's wagering. There is a cutoff, of course, when it's not worth it anymore, but we see this time and time again. We saw it in a £1 million. Bring Kenny shoving 30 big blinds from the button with 9-8 suited. I know you guys watching
I was about to open that
think it's absolutely nuts, but it's not about the hand, it's about the situation. Yeah, he's going to snap call.
King 9 suited. Oh, sorry.
Well, he still has 30%.
King 9
so
suited,
let's see if
Gary?
Greenwood can return the favor.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Take a chunk from the stack.
As long as he doesn't hit right.
Classic race for
I
life.
would have rather heard the ace.
Ace 9 suited.
I don't really need the king, I just need to fade the ace.
It's true.
That is correct. You just need to fade
Why
the
does this
ace.
feel like a flip against him? You know what I mean?
It does.
I like his side. I firmly like your side.
I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay.
Good man. Good luck, Lucas.
Like running 8.
Running 8, yeah.
Running 8 would be. If there's a way to go out, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Running 8s now.
He's got a little 14%
I
on here.
don't even think that.
Some stuff.
So far, so good for Luke. 3 outs to fade.
Excuse me, when's the next break going to be? The next break? I really spoiler.
Wow.
King on the river, in style.
Next one is down there, right?
It's embarrassing if the King of Spades came.
The king can bleed.
did that
6
one.
million for
Seems
each
like a
now.
pretty unnecessary spot to just bluff the
Yeah.
table.
45 minutes then?
Both.
Or actually, it'd have been a misdeal.
Whatever.
Right.
6 million for both.
Faulty deck.
Carrie, what do you love more than playing poker?
Huh?
What do you love more than playing poker?
Family. But,
Family. Well, you have to
As
say
far
that.
as,
We're,
as far as tasks,
we're,
and as far as fun stuff.
we're at a stream table. So let's be. Okay, other than family, poker's number
More
one.
fun than being deep in a tournament.
Exactly.
Is it? I mean, can you think of anything? No. You were having a blast yesterday. You could have had an amazing day.
Oh my God.
It could have been like the best time ever.
Might not have shown up today.
What?
I might not have shown up today.
Yeah, you would have.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not irresponsible.
The pieces are somewhat close. Probably have you have 100% of this, right? Other than a few swaps.
Here we see the updates. Interesting updates. Much has happened in between, even though Linus is still on 52 big blinds. Lucas Greenwood joins him at the top now. Both guys competing for the chip leads. Linus has position, which will come into play a little bit, but the guys that are gonna be suffering the most is Gary Katz, Timothy Adams. 30 big blinds, they're still comfortable, but they have a lot to lose as Cal Burns is at 22 big blinds and Sion is at 14. Here we see why those pay jumps are important. If there's two short stacks, if they bust first, you're guaranteed £100,000 more. Don't want to put in 40 big blinds for a flip when there's 3 stacks shorter than you. It's just not worth it. Even though the chips might be worth it.
You got revenge.
Not going to win you the most money.
But, I mean, still a lot of poker left to be played.
That's over. You locked it.
No.
How much did you have? How much did you have?
Just under 6 now.
How much do you have now, Linus?
So we're
Over 5 million.
looking at Adam, seeing if he wants to
Okay, no.
put some pressure on
It's not
Sion.
hopeless.
Huh.
No, just over 6 now.
5 over 6 actually.
Yeah.
2/3 in a row is going to be impressive.
We will be showing the 50k heads up between Charlie Carroll and Jason Kuhn.
Did you put time bank chip in before when you
Starts in about an hour.
I gave him one.
Yeah, that time bank to lease.
Yeah.
We have 2 feature tables,
Oh,
we'll
yes,
be using them.
I didn't put it in voluntarily.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
And this I don't have.
You might run out here. You might run out here. You use them in spots where you don't need them, you gotta pay a little bit more attention, bro.
Chip leader.
It's so much easier when you just got the numbers in front of your face. Huh?
No, he's only got 6.
Yeah, so we're like
I can fake time bank. Here I can only.
Oh, he would have had 12.
No.
What you can do is you can request
have
a
them
I could have a fresh one.
Happy to tell you, request a count, and then until you're told the count, the clock should be paused.
It's pretty much.
Could I just get, yeah, just fresh water, but I'll keep the tea bag, please. Thank you.
Yeah. I guess 50 bigs doesn't seem like that much anymore.
You cannot request a count if no one is all in.
No, but if they're all in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still, I mean, if you don't know that, it can be a difference between 20 30
Yeah,
seconds.
of course.
So where are you living at the moment?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, wait.
So
Sure.
you're flying the Austrian flag. Heard good
I think
things about
that's
the city.
the one now.
These were 40. Now they're
They're
going to be reduced because I'm playing this game. They're now 30.
Yeah, okay, cool.
But like, yeah, you have about like
3 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay. Liberal modern views and a little bit older architecture, huh? Yeah. No, I've heard it's really nice. I've been to Austria, but I didn't actually go to Vienna. I did like a bit of a tour through Europe, and I went skydiving over the Austrian Alps actually. It was awesome.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. I'm scared of heights, so I was pretty nervous before I did it, but...
The guy does.
Yeah, you can't do it by yourself unless I think you have a certain amount of jumps.
Yeah.
But so like I was going up in the plane, I was like, holy fuck, I have to jump out of this plane. I was like pretty scared, right? And I was attached to this guy. The guy that I was attached to was probably like late 50s. He might have even been 60. He told me he's done 20,000 jumps. And I was like, all right, my boy survived 20,000 times. Probably gonna be okay here, you know?
Yeah.
And then
it's comforting.
yeah. So like they're like, okay, you're gonna have to jump soon. I'm like a bit nervous, and then I'm standing over there outside. Like as soon as I jumped, like the fear was just like it just went to zero basically.
Right. Yeah.
Like I was just like whatever. I'm along for the ride now, right?
Yeah.
You sort of.
There's no turning back.
You almost don't have time to be scared. You're just like, holy fuck, I'm like planeting. I'm like.
Yeah.
Plummeting towards Earth right now from this insane height, and you're just like, holy shit.
I can imagine the worst part is exactly going up in the fucking plane.
For me, it was going up in the plane.
That would be
like,
mine for
I
sure.
was like, oh no, like this is scary, especially considering I'm scared of heights. Like, but yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'd recommend it to
I haven't opened the pot yet, Tim.
Adam's at 30 bigs now. Very uncharacteristic call from Kerry there. Biggest problem here is that you have one of the chip leaders in the big blinds.
Oh, it's 275. I'm sorry. Tim never raises that much. Must be a weak hand.
Lots of hands are going in there to try and leverage Kerry's stack against Adams's. So it's a very dangerous call. But then again, because it's so uncharacteristic, people might not take advantage of it either. Oh, we'll actually be showing the 50k final table very soon as well. Well, we got this action board here. Everybody flops a piece. Gary has middle pair. I mean, this is a pretty good board. If you call with 6-4, Adam's going to be pretty happy with the top pair. I really hope that Adams bets so we get to see what Greenwood does. He is going to bet. 190, very small. Gary wastes no time. All right. What would we do? He's just gonna call. There's no help to anyone. It's not really a scare card either. There are some straight draws that could tag along. That might hit an 8 or that might make a straight. Especially from Greenwood's side. See this a lot with Timothy. Takes it down. This is a massive pot for him. Really puts him above the other middle stacks. Great success. Very excited to watch the heads up. Some interesting hands interesting table conversation as well from Charlie Carroll.
I don't know.
Let's see how
It could be
Jason
your
Koon
turn,
weathers
and
the
then you
storm.
can throw a bunch in, and then what do you need to do for 2 minutes?
I just need the toilet.
Yeah, well then when it's your turn, just say I'm using 4 turns.
That's actually.
Yeah, I'll use them.
When's the break?
I think.
You said after.
An hour,
I mean after one more after.
Yeah, when it's your turn,
35
just say you're going to use, you know.
I mean, if you really have to, like, if you're gonna piss your pants, we can pause the clock.
Yeah, we can
Don't have
stop.
to,
We'll
like,
pause it. We're not going to like.
We're not gonna like.
Yeah, I'm happy to pause it.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
we'll pause it.
torment you by fucking squirming there.
I'm not going to make you use.
I do
force
like.
base.
I think you should just man up and piss your pants.
I do like that idea.
Can we pause the clock after the 10, please? He has to run to the washroom quickly.
Yeah.
I do like the idea though of like you should be able to use your like you're like hold on I'll be back in 2 minutes and just like throw 4 times.
That is kind of funny, but
250.
yeah,
Nah, it's definitely better to pause the clock.
Oh, they're down to 30s.
Definitely better to pause the clock.
2.
Like us
about
stalling
240.
for him, sort of just stupid as well. We only waste
yeah,
time.
it'll not
Total.
definitely.
Yeah. Like I'm happy like in the middle of a tournament if someone's like, hey bro, can you like tank on your line?
Yeah, we're pausing.
Or tank under the gun.
Run.
Yeah, that goes all, like, yeah, no worries, man, I got you.
Yeah.
Run.
Turn your microphone off. We don't want to hear that.
Where's he going?
Use the restroom too.
We have a break in 30 minutes.
40. Oh, is it 30 minutes?
Alright, here some updates. We see Timothy Adams trying to close the distance to the top 2. Kerry Katz, Cal Burns being left behind. Sion hasn't been able to make much work. Pretty card dead so far. As long as he's on 11 big blinds, we're gonna see the chip leaders put a lot of pressure. Playing for 700,000 pounds here. We also have the heads up, where Jason Koon and Charlie Carroll are gonna square off. They both have 900,000 pounds. There he is. 900,000 pounds guaranteed, which equates to $1.1 million. The winner will receive 1.3 million. Jason Koon, one of the most successful players on the Triton circuit, has incredible results, especially in short deck. I believe has won 200k plus buy-ins in that. We will also have a 100,000 pound main event short deck during the stop. So it looks like Jason Koon has 30 big blinds against Charlie Carroll's 40. This was also a star-studded field in third. We saw Linus Leuliger, Cal Burns actually fourth in that one too. Matthias Eibinger in fifth. Robert Flink and Junhua Yep, Daniel DeVores, Isaac Hexton, all at the final table. Talal Shikurchi with the 10th place closing them out. Very tough field. This way we can jump back and forth, so there's no need for breaks just yet. Rip. Charlie taking him down, extending his lead a little bit. Some very chatty at the 25k. He did bubble that one. But he's more than made up for it.
$700.
Gotta open up heads up, can play a lot of hands. Your opponent is by himself, not a table full of guys that all have a chance of having good hands. Your opponent gets 2 random cards in the big blind, so
Check.
lots of reasons to just play a lot of hands. Pretty good flop for Jason here. Pretty dry boards. He's gonna get a lot of folds. Think about against hands like King 7 or 10-8, all these different hands that Charlie could have here.
550.
I mean, the exact hand that he has is the best example, for instance.
Thought I just gave up. Just bet and threw my cards in the muck when he called. I can't win.
Like your earrings. Cool.
Shows the earring. Alright, it's gonna call on the button. Pocket fours.
.2.
Another one for Jason. Good flop for him to represent.
First caffeine of the day. Finally.
Pretty strong hand for Jason, but it's gonna run into a monster. Heads up. I think Jason calls here before the flop with the intention of calling raises.
1.2.
Make it 4 times the big blind. It's important to make it a little bit bigger when you're out of position. Kind of negates that positional disadvantage. Get a little bit more folds. Also, stacks become more shallow. And that's a good point, or a good thing. Because the deeper you are, the harder being out of position is. It's just more tough decisions, more impactful. That is not a flop for ace queen. Jason doesn't want to get blown off his hand. Charlie Carroll, self-proclaimed one of the best live hand readers ever. See if he puts that to use. Gonna lay it down. Jason steals one. Takes the lead as well. Tough board to call with ace high on. Board can still change very much. Could have a great feeling on the turn. And just get bluffed off anyway on a scare card on the river. Alright, back to the final table of the 25k. Wow, Sion finds a hand and not just a hand. The Nizzles Up
Not as
against
strong as you can get.
Timothy Adams, ace queen.
Start to do that.
Much stronger.
I was thinking king 9 suited. Tops.
Pretty gross for Adams.
Yeah.
Sweat would be nice. Sweat.
No sweat there.
No sweat.
The chop sweat.
All
Jack.
turns.
Jack.
Yeah.
A lot of chops.
10. You got a 3 or a 5 to have a little bit.
Needed some hearts.
Ooh, you got the jack. What are you going to ask for now, Tim?
That's sick.
10 of clubs.
Okay.
Sign is like, this is not funny. Alright, some breathing room for Cyan there. That's a big difference for the rest of the table. Nobody's going to be too happy about that. Everybody would have gained 42,000 pounds had he busted. Everybody guaranteed 160,000 pounds at this final table. This was our opening event. Put the final table on today so they didn't collide with the 1 million pound. Few players from this table that played in it. Timothy Adams, Kerry Katz. And here a shot at the outer tables, and the outer tables is the 100,000 pound main event. Kita Bajikowski, David Peters, Michael Turritz, I believe. Eric Seidel, of course. I see Heath. Michael Watson. I remember the gentleman in seat 1 from Jeju. Justin Bonomo, Stephen Chidwick. Chidwick 4th place in the 1 million pound. There's the big no. Vogelsang starts at the field. Nick Petrangelo in the back. Isaac Haxton. Back at it. Matthias Eibinger made the final table of that 50k. Steve O'Dwyer, haven't seen him on screen much yet. Talal Shakurchi, Seth Davies. Really like seeing him play, as well as Sam Greenwood. These guys do some really cool stuff with that sizing. Man, the myth, the legend, the most feared short deck player in the world. Excellent at no limit hold'em as well. Bay. Daniel DeVoris. Nick Petrangelo.
How much you got here?
Like 16 bigs.
I thought they were stacked to 1 million. They're not anymore?
Yeah.
Down to 30s.
Okay.
Losing.
That's all I gotta ask. I never know.
He's not into the fundamental stacking of chips.
No, he's got one of the hardest stacks to count. But we let him do it.
30s are legal, aren't they?
They're fine.
Don't worry, they're on their way down to 20s.
Ah, that's it. Thank you, chat. Thorell. Red sign with some breathing space. Close to 20 bigs. We see Jason Kuhn and Charlie Carroll in the back. Really nice. We got to show you guys both.
All in.
Gary Cat's gonna go all in from the dealer button. Only 2 players to beat. Really like that move. Especially against the chip leaders. If you just open here to 2 big blinds and Linus sees a hand like Jack 10 suited, he might just go all in on you. And getting those hands to fold is massive since they all have 50% against you. Plus, you have to fold when they do that. And now you just win the chips. Good adjustment by Gary there. So as expected, Linus is going to be a little bit more quiet on the left after losing that big pot with Ace-Jack versus Kings versus Luke Greenwood. $320. Gary's sizing up. Feels if he min raises, he's just gonna get attacked too often, but it might happen anyway here with Luke on the Ace-Jack.
Flip layers.
Cats flops the nuts. Nobody has a diamond. Cal Burns with top pair.
165.
Really like the small bet. Sucks exactly hands like Cal's in. That's not gonna save Cal. This actually increases his hand strength. It's a straight draw with his top pair now. Looks like another small bet is coming. 350. Yes. Really tough for Burns. I mean, you have such a relative strong hand. One thing that Katz's bet sizing says is he either wants to get to the river cheaply or he doesn't have a care in the world here. And I'll be incredibly impressed if he gets away from this, because that straight draw there just gives you so many options. Even if your opponent has a hand like aces with a diamond,
5 seconds.
you have so many outs. He makes the call. Doesn't change anything. Great cards for Burns, really. Don't think he would have been able to get away from his hand if he hit a 7 or a deuce.
How much are you playing?
About 1.25.
This is definitely the disadvantage of defending as light as Burns does. On a final table, you get in very marginal spots like this, where you feel like you're getting sucked in. Because there's not really a point where you can fold, but bleeding these chips is a disaster. He made a great lay down against Gary Katz earlier.
Gonna throw this time bank chip out in advance. Let me do some math here. You flop a flush, Gary? Was I trying to tell me you flopped a flush? Because I've seen you play some flushes for some big bets in the past, and these were some small bets.
Ooh, that's some free info to give there.
They
Showing
were
off
small.
a little bit almost.
Alright. You got one of these already? Yeah. Let me think. Why didn't you check a lot on the flop though? Don't expect you to bet much on the flop. Let me think. Fuck me, dude. Can't beat that flush. Do you have a nut flush? King nine flush?
He's pretty much saying, is it a flush or nothing?
This is like a nut flush or a king eye flush, or this isn't like nothing.
Exactly. Doesn't expect Gary to bet an overpair. I think that's a great assessment.
You don't?
Obviously going to show you the end of that hand, but this is a massive pot here. Jason Kuhn with the nut straight in the heads up of the 50k, playing for 1.3 million pounds. Both have a flush draw. Charlie Carroll trailing now, but he does have those spades. Tons of chips in the middle already. There are 2 hearts out there as well. Of course, neither player has them, but it will increase the likelihood for Charlie Carroll that Jason Kuhn is playing a heart flush draw. That just made the board a lot more scary for Charlie Carroll. 6.5 million in the middle. What a turn card.
All in.
He's gonna go all in.
All right. What we got? 7 of them.
Immediately, Jason Kuhn Knows he's not up against the flush. It's an awesome feeling. As soon as your opponent says he might need all 7 time banks.
Yeah.
Right, so just to give you an update on the action there. This is really awesome. We're not missing any big pots.
3 million. We got 25%. Small bit on the turn. So fucking small. You might check that nut flush on the flop too. Carry, what do you got? You put me in the pain box.
Really sounds like he's talking himself into a call. Saying Gary used to bet big when he flopped a flush. Wouldn't he check an ace high flush on the flop? You have a flush or nothing. Everything going wrong for Burns now. What a spot for him.
There's an ace-high flush or it's nothing. Fold. Fold.
You see, he makes the fold. I keep
bluff.
saying it. If you want to fold, it's better to just slide your cards. Gary thought he heard call there. It might not sound to you at home, but fold sounds so much like call. I've seen many mistakes with that in the past. So if you play live poker, make sure.
4? Oh crap. Oh man.
So Charlie Carroll still in the tank. Alright, good decision by Charlie. Folding top pair and heads up.
Oh.
Doesn't feel great.
Nice one. Thanks.
Everybody in the chat, calm down. If you're watching, we know you guys don't want to miss the big moments, and we're actually providing you exactly with the coverage where you won't. Get to see every big pot.
See if you can give me some easier decisions. Nah, I love the tough decisions. Keep it up. Thank you.
Thanks.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Okay, so here we see an overview of what has happened so far. Jason Koon, slight chip lead, 11 to 10 million. Linus Leuliger busted in third, winning £600,000. Great series for him so far. Stacked final table here that was played out last night with commentary from Randy Liu and Jeff Gross.
Check.
Yeah, it's a tough board for Charlie to continue on. Exactly what I mean, guys. I thought I said call as well. When you say the two words clearly, it really doesn't sound like there's a difference, right? You hear fold, call. But when you are in an atmosphere with chips and everything, and the only thing you hear is all, it can be both. Alright, Linus, against two of the stacks, he really wants the pressure. I mean, even though Cyan Ellier sign has a doubled. Still a good position for him. Of course, Ellier has won the 50K Poker Player Championship at the WSP in 2017. Really no stranger to the big stage. Very old school online as well. Crazy Ellier.
Mr. Katz, on you.
For 20 seconds.
Gary Katz having a grand old time today. Really nice to see. See Ellier in the big blind now, facing a raise from Greenwood. So the three guys in the middle are struggling a little bit for chips. Gary Katz doing pretty good. This is Luke Greenwood. 6 million, very comfortable. Lena's still with the chip lead. We'll definitely see him opening
320.
anything that looks reasonable.
320.
We'll get some action from the big blind. Pretty reasonable ace to defend for Carey.
$280.
Playing for 700,000 pounds here. Nice and early start for these guys. Some of them have gone to pretty late. Some of these guys play cash games at night too. Triton tournament weeks are always packed with action. We do have some nice cash games from Montenegro coming out for you guys very soon.
All in.
Did some commentary. All I can say is there was a lot of action. burns his last 7.5 big
Negative.
blinds.
Yeah. Like 1.15, a little bit less.
1.15.
Counting how many big blinds it is and how you feel, Luke.
What do you see our clock?
Is 1.15 right?
They
A little
keep
bit less.
switching it.
1.1.
Now it's there.
35.
Where?
Up there. Way up there. Can you see it?
Oh,
Yeah. And they keep switching into the 50K one.
Oh yeah.
So that's why.
So that's how it's a lot better.
I was definitely had the best hand, but might have to fade some stuff.
Yeah. No, I didn't have that good a hand. But
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I think
with like 5 big blinds, I think I'd have to call it off.
yeah.
Are you going to Roswell?
World Series? Oh, after this?
They're having 2 Triton events there.
Yeah, I know.
And
It's unlikely.
And a 25.
When is that?
It's right after this, pretty much.
Yeah, it's on the starts. Good stuff.
What,
starts
same time as
good
Barcelona?
Stuff, yeah, it
No,
starts on the
before.
12th. No, it's before.
No, because I'm going to go to Barcelona, and then I'm going to go to Super High Roller Bowl London.
Is that the WSOP Europe?
No, it's a
Different
another
thing.
series.
It's like a party poker.
There's a
like
couple
party
Triton
poker
events,
millions.
too.
It's run by Party though?
But combined, like they've done it a couple times for Triton, then we'll like host 1 or 2 tournaments. Like they did it last year in Sochi.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
A couple of my friends are in Europe and they're going to be in the UK like soon after I finish playing this, so I might just
Like 6.5?
hang out with
I
them.
think you're like 6.
Not often that my Australian friends are just randomly in Europe, not poker players
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, nice.
Check.
We see these 2 square off again. Really tough position at the table here for Luke. He's made it work so far. He got pretty unlucky against Linus earlier when he flopped top to pair and Linus ran out of 4 flush. Both players with king high. Greenwood so far best. Very big chance of a chop. Plus you never know what Linus will do. He does check. It does result in a chop. Unless one of the players forces the other out of the hand, but that seems very unlikely.
How much do you have? Is it Elio? Is that how you say your name?
Elio, yeah.
Elio.
2.5 million?
2.5?
Yeah, about.
Short stacks eyeing each other.
There's like white stacks 250.
Yeah, just gonna go call.
Yeah, okay.
Chop chop.
Chop.
Heads up still going on in the back. Charlie Carroll, Jason Kuhn. It's actually nice. Heads up there can be so many like small pots, limp, bet, fold, next shuffle. This way we actually get to see the biggest hands from the heads up. while still knowing everything that's been going on.
You got one. What do you got? Like a 1.25 behind?
I got like 1.44
Total.
Yep.
Not that I plan on opening.
After that big one, hey?
Not that I plan on opening.
Yeah, just fold, bro. Do yourself a favor. Actually, you can open. You know what? I'll let you open.
No, it reads just too good on me. I have to change it up on you. Have to come up with something new. I have to start bluffing you on
It
it.
hurt my soul having to fold with so much in there. If I get a message saying Carrie bluffed you, I'm gonna be like, oh no.
Well, the jam, you know, it's not a big pair anymore, right? 'Cause that board's a little too scary to be jamming.
I mean, if you give me that price on the turn with the big pair, good on you. Like,
yeah, I think if I bet 400 on the turn, you can't call it. Or no, a little more. I think you can call.
I mean, I got open ender too.
I don't know, maybe you just jam. Nah, you don't jam.
Call. Cool.
Too bad you missed your straight.
Huh? Yeah, I mean, if I miss my straight, I might have to pay you, right?
If you miss.
Sorry.
If you hit it, yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean.
That's the greatest hold ever if that was a straight. Actually, it's still bad.
Should have gave me a freebie. I hit my straight, I just rip it straight into you.
I know that Alina says ace high here. There's some
yeah, I don't know what kind of
9x combinations here for green ones.
Is like third pot, but even that, then you're agonized. Then you're like, know you're beat.
I mean, if you jam it on the turn, I'm sort of hating it as well. You got pair and open ender. You could have like ace queen and a queen and ace jack with
yeah,
alignment.
I should have bet a little bigger on the flop, and then jam the turn, and then you'd be priced in.
250.
Or you make yourself look like you have a.
You know what you did wrong? I didn't improve. That's where you went wrong, Carrie. If I improved, then you just
But I expected you to be. I was hoping you could be a hero. I had one more comment I should have asked you at the end that might have like piqued your curiosity enough to call, and I didn't do it. I was literally within seconds of making a comment to you that might have changed things.
What was that? Oh, that seemed fast. What was the comment?
Well, I don't want to say because
he's going to keep it in the back.
It's a brick. The bigger the spot gets, the more I'm just gonna assume that Greenwood has 9-8 or 8.
I said like, how about this? I'll show you if you fold.
It's unlikely for him to have any other combination with the 8 because there's no heart on the flop. If there's a single heart, you can definitely mix in some.
Because I sensed you were folding.
8-7 of hearts.
I should have made that comment because I think you might have changed your mind. I mean, it might have at least piqued your interest enough to say.
I'm just going to go, but Carrie, I could find out in half an hour, mate. Then what are you going to say? Then you'd be like, I didn't put him on the RFID, so you would never know.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it was a bit of a Hail Mary at that point because I was pretty sure you were folding.
I felt dirty calling the turn.
Ace high.
I also have ace high.
His ace high's better.
Not as good as that one.
You're trying to get me over here, huh?
This is a very important
right of him.
pot for Lillegaard.
You would break, right?
Put some distance between the two. He's up to close to 8 million against the 5 million of Luke. See that difference now. It's actually more sizable than I thought it would be. It is a turbo. Blinds are catching up a little bit to the players. Lena's in the chip lead with 38 big blinds, very comfortable. Cal Burns down to 6. That is a problem. The new blind level, 100k, 200k, 200,000 ante on the big blind. switch it over to the heads up real quick. See Charlie Carroll's flop to flush. There's 8 million in the middle already. Here we see the action. Carroll limp calls before the flop. Bet with the flush in position. That is the club though. Charlie Carroll gets counterfeited. Jason Koon check calling twice. That's 2.7 million behind. Looks like Charlie Carroll was able to get a reasonable chip lead. Charlie Carroll decides to fold her, their stacks will be exactly even. Good fold by Charlie. After that raise pre-flop from Koon and a check call twice, just thinks it's too likely there's a big club in there. Charlie enjoying himself, so these guys are back to even. Triton trophy in the middle. That and 1.3 million pounds. $1.6 million. Both these guys tough as nails. So while the other table's on break, we can just show you hands from this one.
Check.
Lines are up to 200k, 400k. That ante is so insane. Big blind ante still 400. So every pot, very important to fight for them. Jason Koon up against two random cards here. He's gonna limp quite a few, or pretty much every single Jack and Queen X he's gonna be playing. Pulls ahead. Very inconspicuous card for Charlie. We do the reversal right again, so Charlie with two pair now. Pretty tough board for Jason Koon.
Your attention, dealers in the main event. If you started a shuffle, please complete the hand you're on. Otherwise, send your players on a 15-minute break. 15 minutes break in the main event.
1.5.
Pretty big bet. Let's not forget there's a ton of hands like 10-8, 9-8, King-9. All those type of hands would still be in and would miss by now. That's why Jason is considering this. Can't just automatically start folding pairs against good opponents, especially heads up.
Call.
Yeah, he does make the call.
Pairs good.
Tough one for Jason. Charlie back in the leads. It's hard too because it's hard to put somebody on a 6. 6 doesn't complete any straight draws, any gut shots from the flop. It's very unlikely that Charlie would just bet with a deuce, turn it into a bluff. So you're really looking at a queen or a jack. With all the straight draws and floats that could be out there as well. I think that's why Jason decided to call. So Jason now on 20 big blinds.
All in.
All in.
Hmm.
How much?
8.2.
Yeah, correct.
20 blinds.
I don't know.
Charlie says he doesn't know what to do.
I beat deuces.
It's kind of the problem showcased here, even if Queen shows a hand that is as weak as King 5 offsuit.
Threes?
Yeah.
We're flipping.
Is that a bad call?
No.
Perfect.
Good call.
Problem is there's 1.2 million out there, so it really sucks to be folding 50-50s.
Good luck. Kind of forgot that we're all in. I was just still trying to work out what I'm in a call with.
Trying to work out what?
I was still trying to work out what I was meant to call with in that spot.
Definitely meant to call that one.
Not deuces there?
You just have ace deuce off.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. Rats.
Well, there's a 5. 17 million in the middle. There are some backdoors Charlie could hit, and of course the 3 kind of locks it up. Well, that's one interesting card. Can now win with a 6. Seven, no good.
8.2.
8.2, so 16.8 million for Jason Kuhn. Charlie Carroll down to 12.5 big blinds. 1.3 million pounds for the winner here. Both guaranteed 900,000 pounds. Must be nice to wake up to a heads up and you're already guaranteed 900,000 pounds.
82.
Here we see an overview of what this final table looked like. Linus Leuliger, Cal Burns, both on the 25k final table. Great week for either of them. Matthias Eibinger. Had some funny stories about big hands he played from Michael Soiza earlier this week. Robert Flink, one of the newer faces, kind of emerged on the Triton scene this year. Excellent, excellent player. Very old school, also really good at short deck. Yep, Junhua, Daniel DeVoris, finishing 7th and 8th. This tournament started yesterday. Played all the way through. Let me see those payouts I just mentioned. 1.3 million pounds. Also starting today, or has started, the 100,000 pound main event. The event after this will be the 100,000 short deck. Of course, the main event will be event number 5, even though the 50k is event number 3. There are no event number 4s in Triton. It's an unlucky number. We see it time and time again. We only have Western guys playing it.
Cool.
All in.
All in.
That's gonna do it. I mean, there's a big comeback mechanic in this heads up. The big blind puts in 800,000 every single time. I mean, at the same time, if you get shoved on a lot, then you're gonna lose that 800,000. But if you get a few hands in a row that go your way after a limp, or if you can just shove from the small blinds.
No. Yeah. 5.21.
You can make back a lot of chips.
5.3.
Players for the 25k turbo, final table. The tournament will recommence in just over a minute. That's players for the final table of the 25,000. Tournaments will recommence in
done.
1 minute.
So here you see, he wins 2 million in 2 hands. A little less than that, of course, but get the gist of it. Just a few hands.
I'm
he,
okay to keep going if you want.
Chipped up.
Another.
We still have 18
Oh,
minutes.
right. Oh, I was looking at the other clock.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it's...
Oh, well, they have like 10 seconds to get back to the table then.
Just go ahead and deal, and we're a little casual about the antes here.
Yeah, sometimes we put them in, sometimes we don't bother.
If we're that casual.
All in.
So Jason gets one. About 3-to-1 stack advantage. If he loses an all-in, they'll be back even. I see quite a few flops as well. Small blind still should complete a lot because that ante is dead. So you have to call 200,000 more for a million out there. If you get insane odds, you're up against a random hand. Players will sometimes call with strong in the small blinds and not always get shoved off their hand. Like what you just saw.
All in.
Another one. Charlie back down to 4 million. Just an update for the people tuning in. This is our other table that we have featured where we will see the big pots and the whole cards and the action. Event number 1, finishing 4 days later to not conflict with the £1 million tournament.
I ordered a salmon.
6 people left.
And one.
Yeah, 3.3, 3.4. All in. How much is it? Not too much.
Small blind and big blind action. Not too much indeed, but it is 6 big blinds.
Like 1.1, maybe 1.2.
The problem for Adams is if he loses this hand, he's in trouble. He's gonna feel committed, make the call.
Somewhat of a fair fight.
Fair fight.
That is pretty fair.
Australia versus Canada.
Let's go Australia.
Commonwealth.
I folded a 7, which makes it a little more fair.
Thanks for that.
I mean, if I folded a king, I wouldn't tell you.
You folded these ones?
I wouldn't. If I had a king, I wouldn't tell you. I feel like the 7 isn't as relevant.
Tim is a player of the world. Right? It's true. Your team is just
neutral card for neutral Switzerland.
Very worldly, me and Tim Adams.
you can't even put them on. You can't even like list them on one continent.
5-3. Pretty neutral.
So my backdoor potential for Adams in terms
You
of
get that
straights.
spade, I still got the outs, you know.
True.
Burns with the spade.
8 of clubs.
8 of spades, can't be too greedy, okay? Still a good card.
Yeah.
Down to 4 queens now. Everybody at the table really hoping for a queen here, so the ladder up. It is not, and Burns will
Did announce it.
fully double up. I think Adams is at table short stack now.
1-10, I think. Have a look. 1-2-10, sorry.
2.
What was that, sorry, Linus?
You didn't announce it.
And here we see Jason Kuhn. Looks like he went all in from the small blind. Charlie Carroll calling in the big blind with ace jack. If the river is a 7 or 9, it's lights out for Charlie Carroll. If he wins though, we're going to be close to even stacks again. It is not. These two will continue to battle.
The crowd goes wild.
Is it 4.4?
Yeah. What you saying? Told you energy's good.
Energy is good.
I'd say that was more of a hook. It's the only way I would fight you.
Four.
Marlena's 7.6 million. Burns now with ace jack. Two things to consider here. Elliot in the big blind with a small stack. Timothy Adams to his left
All in.
with a big stack, but I really like this all in. Linus is just going to open so often. Also doesn't want to lose 2.6 million.
I thought that min race was bad news. Can't do much.
It's on a rush.
This really isn't too much either. Can often shove that out.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you
I
got
feel like Kale's.
to open some much weaker stuff to compensate those.
Ace jack is a good hand off 10 bigs or whatever.
Yeah. 2, 2.1, 2.45. I got 2.5. 2.
Yeah.
It's a good one to win.
So far so good. This would be great news for Timothy Adams, the table short stack. £42,000 money jump. For the Barry. GG, Cal Burns.
Good game, Cal.
Our 6th place finisher.
Big game, buddy. Well played.
Was home with around $200,000.
I'll see you in the 100.
You'll
Great
see me in the
effort.
100.
Yeah.
See you in the hundreds.
Yeah, thanks.
Subtle brag.
Yeah.
See you in the 100K, bro.
Yeah.
Paul Plotter. Bottom right. This guy's duking it out in the main event.
We're supposed to color these 5s up?
Yeah, we could.
Kate. Okay, we need to color the 5Ks up.
Yeah. 3 million.
Jason Kuhn, great turn. Lots of money in the middle. Big bet. So these guys are back to a little bit more deep stack poker, but the blinds are catching up to them. Turn does bring some backdoor straight draws, backdoor flush draws on board. That's why Charlie is going to make the call. Charlie will have 4.7 million behind. There's 10 million in the middle. Man, if the river breaks out, this could be a deciding hand. Deep breath from Koen. That is not a brick. Charlie Carroll spikes 2 pair on the river. It's lucky here against Jason Koen.
All on.
Yeah, turn top pair is so strong.
I have a jack.
2 pair. Sorry.
Yeah, can't win tournaments without luck though. Jason Koen not yet out, but he's left with 5 big blinds.
4.3, 4.45. I'll just break one of these.
He was really close there with all those draws on board. If it breaks out, that's the wonder. Would it have just been over?
4.45. 4 million, 450.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, sure. Wow. Yeah, well.
Gonna see some action very soon with Jason being the short. I think legacy grinding is pretty important for Jason here as a Triton ambassador. Already has a few titles. He's made plenty of final tables. Also plays all the cash games. Plays some crazy short deck cash games as well.
All on.
Has to go all in here. Very easy call for Charlie Carroll.
Just like 3, right?
No. 2.65.
Yeah, cool.
Cool.
Hey yo.
Can't put your claws in it yet. Double up for Jason Koen. Back to 10 bigs. 12 actually.
That's 5.6, 5.7.
Yeah, and then you just pull the other one out.
Sorry. Sorry, anyway, I got my just dessert because I ended up with queens at the final table. Third in chips. And third in chips. Hit a queen on the Mateus.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Mateus had the big stack.
Half the payouts.
I know,
Queen
exactly.
10 suited.
And
King 10 suited.
flashing back.
Jams. Does a huge jam. I call with queens for the chip lead.
Luca, we
Hit a
have
queen
a
on the
problem.
flop.
We've requested it over 5 times. We need a clock that stays. Okay, I know you guys have some problems with this clock flashing back and forth.
Yeah.
I think it's ridiculous. We don't have a clock. Look at the payouts. They keep flashing back and forth.
Yeah.
And also the payouts that have already been paid out are flashing up, and it's like.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I can print a couple of payouts and leave it here on display, but the clocks I can't change them. Not.
That's going to be over soon anyway.
But like,
I would work.
I just think.
Alright, there's you see those chips. Timothy Adams, 10 big blinds. I can imagine him wanting to know exactly what it's like. It's very important in your hand selection, your calculations. Elliot and Timothy Adams both on 10 big blinds. Gary Katz, a tiny bit more. Lucas Green right above that. So the story of this final table is Linus maintaining his lead, putting pressure where he can. Michael Watson. Okay, main event. So action underway.
Oh yeah. Couldn't be bothered coming.
Looks like that's the end of just the bottom of there.
Trying to get into 1 minute.
Try and see if he has chips left.
You're not a network. You can't Yeah. Social media, what's that, bro? Break? Do a break. 50.
I just want to know when it happens.
Jason seems to have chipped up a bit after the double. Back up to 6.5.
Roll in. 6.6.
Imagine Jason's gonna be tempted here.
Cool.
Doesn't make the call. Jason all in for his tournament life. With the best hand though.
Alright. Third time's the charm.
Help to either player, which means it helps Jason Kuhn. Straight possibilities now for Charlie.
I see a 7 of hearts in my near future.
Oh, that's gonna have to be in the main event then. Charlie Carroll binks it, wins 1.3 million pounds, and we get a little dance too, just as a dessert for the audience.
Did a Kit Kat. So I get a fist bump.
Charlie Carroll wins the 50k, event number 3. Jason Kuhn finishing second for 900,000 pounds. Won't be the last we see of him this week. Congratulations, Charlie Carroll. Well played, well done. Very excited. Joining the booth now, Jeff Groves. What's up, Jeff?
What's going on? Just
Yeah,
got
that's
here.
not fun.
See the last hand. Charlie Carell has been animated. Saw him run big bluff versus Patrick Antonius in the first 25K. Looks like he came to play. He was playing winning poker, not trying to sneak into money positions. He's going for it, and we see in the very next event he plays, he gets the win. Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And for Jason Kuhn, you got to be happy in terms of he plays a £1 million entry, doesn't go his way, didn't have to stew long and getting that, kind of right back. It's not exactly $1 million, but I'm pretty sure feels good and kind of get unstuck. When Randy and I were talking last night, it's kind of tough when you play, if you go out of your zone where you're playing a little higher, even like online, right? If you're playing a lot of 1Ks, 500s, and all of a sudden there's these big series that come up and you play a 10K or 25K, it's sort of tough when you don't cash it because now when you're back to your regular, normal sort of grind, it's difficult to get back, to recover that, and Jason's going to immediately get that back.
Yeah, the weeks after a tournament series like this feel very bleak and slow. It's the same thing. It's pretty much Coops that decide what my year looks like, and it's just, all of a sudden, like you said, if you normally play like 500s and all of a sudden you play 2Ks.
I am here with Charlie Carroll, the winner of the 50K event. Your very first Triton, $1.3 million. How does it feel?
I feel pretty dead inside. That tends to be the way when I'm playing poker, just like a general contentness when I'm playing. But in about 3 to 4 hours, I'm about to play 100K. In about 1 to 2 days, it's going to kick in and I'm going to be ecstatic.
How do you get to that place? I saw you meditating outside. Is it just training, or how do you get there?
That's a good question. I have a general emotional proclivity, I think, to focus and be pretty dead inside when I'm doing stuff, because I feel like it's a bit of a defense mechanism that naturally occurs because I'm such an emotional person usually. So meditation does help if I'm feeling a bit anxious or if I'm feeling a bit, what's a good word for it? If my foot's doing this a bit too much, then I know that I need to meditate. But generally it's something that came pretty naturally.
Awesome, well, good to hear. We're gonna let you hop in the 100K now and get back to the guys in the booth.
Cheers, Mike. Good to meet you, by the way. Yeah, man.
Some emotion there from Carell, who mentions that he thinks that's good. There should be more talking and more fun, and he has sort of taken that role, at least recently. From what I've seen of him, he's talked a lot. He's been animated, had fun, makes kind of jokes at people, but very light, and has a good time. It's not. There's no ill will towards it. So I like his demeanor, and I think. It's impressive. This guy's he plays online. He does some Twitch. He even does a lot of engagement with the community, and has done some bankroll challenges. So he really has a wide range. Someone's gonna do a 1K, start with 1,000, and try to win 10K and show you how it's done, and then come and win millions of dollars playing at the highest level. It's pretty cool to have that bandwidth.
Sometimes, but like
definitely showed some emotion there at the end. Indeed, not so dead
not
inside.
Even if he's mad at me. That's more affectionate than Luke. Luke is just normal.
Right, so back to this final table. We'll be finishing this up. 700,000 pounds for the winner. After that, we immediately kick into the main event.
How do you pronounce it? I know this is Linus Love. You call it Loliger?
Loliger.
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 And his first name you say Linus.
Linus. All right.
Linus Loliger.
Linus.
Like, you know how you say Manik Lozer?
Yeah.
That's exactly the same.
Yeah, they remind me. The names are very similar, and also very great players. So he's had quite a start here in the 25 and 50 final tabling. Saw last night he got third. Ran a pretty crazy bluff. I don't know if you caught that hand. It was late last night to actually end the day. He turned 6-7 into a bluff.
I said minus. You thought I said Lucas.
Yeah.
I got it.
These guys are talking about here.
Yeah. A little over.
Doesn't quite add up.
Well, getting back to that, there's a bluff. He turned three-handed with Jason Kuhn and Carell. He had 6-7, and the board was Ace-10-7. Charlie had 8-9. There was some action going, a little bit of betting, and then on the river, or the turn was a 10, so now the board's paired, and the river was a 6. So Charlie makes his straight. Linus checks. Charlie bets, and then he didn't have much more. It was like he bet 1.6, and he had 2.8 total. And he check raised, bluffed all in into the straight, and like Charlie even kind of heed and haw, just kind of like, how could it's like, how could this ever be a bluff? Like how is it? And then he just like called, and it was over. But it shows you the creativity. He's just saying, I block boats, and it's so strong, and goes for it. But that's how he was eliminated in third.
Yeah. I mean, that's an incredible bluff. If you think about all the hands that he's just gonna get folds from, that could be the bluff of the year on TV, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, so we see Greenwood still in second here against Elior. Wow, this is trouble for Elior. He has a little over pot left. He only has 7 big blinds. This is really the kind of things he's looking for.
You know who won it?
That's familiar, Cyan. Is it Cyan? Pronounced Cyan, Cyan. I don't think I've ever played with him.
I didn't get all the chips.
Do you know much about him?
He won the 50K Players Championship in 2007 at the WSP. Plays online as Crazy Elior.
Okay.
So it's especially in the mixed games, a very known competitor. Seems to play very solidly.
Hold on.
And they're gonna get it in. So, Cyan at risk here. Really bad news for him. Pretty unfortunate, didn't get anything going, had aces earlier, but the blinds come hot and fast, especially with the big blind ante short-handed.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah. You played that perfect.
He's a jack or 10. It's no good.
Greenwood, one of the Greenwood brothers, very talented brothers who played the highest of stakes. He's gonna be ahead going to the river here. And it's clean, so.
Hey, buddy.
All right, well played, man.
I like the way you played that. Nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Well played.
Very honest.
Yeah. Fine with you.
Pretty disappointing final table for him, must be.
Big game, man.
Pretty card dead.
Thanks.
Is it? So I know there's several Greenwood brothers. Did he play the million? One of the Greenwoods played the million.
Sam played the million.
Sam,
I don't think Luke did.
Okay. The Sam was one who played the million. He actually, I believe he got in. I saw that one of the Greenwood brothers, they did get it in the million. I think Ace King to Ace Jack.
Yes,
to
exactly.
Get eliminated. So
yeah, I think it was Wai Long Chan.
Yep.
Who ended up cashing.
Looking back on the highlights yesterday, Zhang, who won, he really had a ride at that final table. I mean, he was short the whole time for the majority of the time, and he got in the hand Ace Jack versus Ace Jack offsuit versus Vivek, and Bill said, "Oh, chop it up on the flop." Didn't see there was a back door, and it went back door.
Wow, yeah. I remember that one with the hearts. All right, so 4 players remaining. We see Elior bust, £202,000 for him. All the players remaining, £250,000, $306,000 guaranteed. We're looking at a £56,000 money jump. Pretty significant.
Yeah, it is. It's always nice to look at the jumps in terms of buy-ins, and this is a 25K, so two buy-in jump. It starts to get big, and it's a great turnout and big money up top here. So of course ICM gets more important, more valuable, and these guys no strangers to that concept, and they know what's going on. They're ready to battle. There's Kerry Katz as well. Man, Katz, again, we just talk about him. I'll tell you what, I don't think there's a stop that Kerry Katz doesn't get a flag or something on his Henan Mob, because he just seems to be there. I've had arguments about this because I think he's one of. I just think he's one of the best in the world. There's like no question about it. He has so much practice in those Aria 25K shorthand. He's playing all these super tough opponents at various stack sizes. When you play 20, 30, 40-man fields, you get a lot of practice in these situations.
Yeah, for sure. It is funny how often he goes deep.
He may be, the hand against Webster in that million was. It was a super crazy hand, the one where Kerry Katz folded the 2 pair, because he basically had his opponent trapped going in the river, and he knew it. And then he got a card where he decided just to call instead of go raise on the turn, where he had top 2 versus a 2 pair, and then the river paired the bottom card 3, and Webster shipped it all in for value with King 5, and it was King 5 3 10 3, and Kerry talked himself into a fold, and it's so crazy because he wasn't bluffing, but he had one of basically the only hands that wasn't a bluff that he could beat, and it was pretty crazy hand because we didn't. I remember calling. It's like you didn't know what was gonna. You didn't know what he was gonna do.
Yeah. All right. Kerry might be in some trouble here.
Oh.
Yeah, blind on blinds. Too good. 7s for Greenwood.
Got a bad feeling right before I jammed too, but nothing. I'm not folding that one.
No.
Yeah, don't think you can. There's really, what are you, 17 and a half?
Your 7s get revenge.
Blinds,
Yeah.
nothing to really talk about
yet.
there.
You get all your money back.
Well, not yet.
That's about as bad as it gets. Called so fast. My only hope, I was hoping for ace king. I just need a. What do I need? I need 4 spades, 4 diamonds. All right.
Look at this.
There it is.
There it is.
You got a lot of backdoor stuff though.
Kerry's done enough play-by-play. He's watched enough streams, and
Thank you for not telling me.
he knows the runouts, and he's seen it all.
Did you
He's
fold
got, like-
7 also?
I had 7 for offsuit.
Yeah, 7's actually. I mean, as bad as it is to get set here, there is a lot of possibility here.
I wouldn't have.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care.
Yeah, I know.
For sure, a turn sweat. I mean, we've had that almost every time. All right,
Oh, wow,
here's
that's
the
a
one.
big sweat.
Oh, that's
Okay.
terrible. Worst card. He doesn't have diamonds, though, at least. Thank God. That's the worst. That was like
Oh, he
the
doesn't have
worst
diamonds. I thought
card
he
of the
did have
deck.
diamonds. Okay,
Other
it's
than
still
a
bad. Yeah.
No face code. I want to sweat at least.
No. Just big, fat. Put some paint out there.
What would be the best card to give Kerry a heart attack? Like a deuce?
Yeah.
Deuce is probably. I'm trying to think what looks the most.
My mind's
like
just gonna go blank if it's
Leo
not
and-
paint. If it's not paint, then my mind's gonna go blank.
Yeah. Oh
Wow.
my goodness.
Yeah.
He actually did it. It took him a second. That was.
That's
hell
pretty
was that run
disgusting.
Maximum pain.
Oh, that is. All right.
Nah, you deserve
Gentlemen,
it.
of course,
That's a
Kerry
game.
shaking hands,
luck.
sliding the
Yeah,
chips
well played.
over. And
Okay,
again,
mine.
just another. Go to Hen and Mob. You do yourselves a favor and treat yourself to Kerry Katz's resume. He also is Poker Go, Poker Central. The man started. He loves poker and just great guy that is a big ambassador and does a lot for the game. If you guys don't know him, he is a great guy and plays everything. He actually was the one, the $1 million one drop. He had that famous, maybe the most famous hand, one of the most famous hands of poker, aces to aces versus Connor Dryden, and made the 4 flush
when you
with
open, I
2
have
tables
two,
left.
but
And
then I should have-
I mean, it's pretty crazy. So.
Yeah, that is pretty nuts. So he'll add on and again to his hand and mob, winning $306,000 here for 4th. Must be really stoked on that.
Yeah.
It's gonna look so legit again, People that check it next week see, oh, 4th in the 25K.
Right, because it's Aria, you could argue. Some people say, oh, these are it's like a club, right? Like these guys live in Vegas. They're just every day building up their hand and mobs, playing against each other. You go around, you see him cash some of these other events, big events. He goes around the world, and he definitely plays the highest stakes. And Kerry's one of those guys, like, I wouldn't surprise me in 5-10 years. Bryn Kinney, who just became the #1 all time, says he's never going to relinquish that spot. But I just have a feeling Kerry, he's like going for it. I think some guys say, I don't care about this. I don't care. The money for him, it is a little different. I don't think he cares as much. I just have a feeling to him that list is very important, and maybe he's eyeing that #1 all time. So keep an eye out for Kerry Katz.
Of course, yeah. I mean, we see how important it is for pros even already. So amateurs must be really stoked climbing that thing too.
Yeah, because when you hear Bryn Kinney or someone say it's not about the money, I mean, at the end of the day, right, like you can say that's true or not, but of course, if you don't have a business, something background, poker's your main source of income. It's sort of it is relative, and these buy-ins are expensive as well. These guys are playing 25Ks, 50Ks, 100Ks, and the occasional million that come up. It is very important, and it can add up fast. You see guys that have good results, but sometimes their buy-ins surpass their their earnings. So it's I don't always believe when someone says it's not about the money, but Kerry, I would. He's done well for himself in business.
Yeah, but it's it goes for other guys too. I mean, even people that have won millions and millions and millions of dollars, like Seidel, Negreanu. For those guys, it is not about the money always. They're legacy grinding.
Yeah.
That's why a guy like Negreanu can be so sick if he gets second again and again and again for bracelets. He really wants to win those bracelets. Yes, he had a great tournament. Yes, he's going to be stoked with the money eventually, but those guys just want to break records.
It hurts Negreanu to hear, he hasn't won a bracelet in 8 years. When you look at his thing, he's
6
probably
or
had
7
great.
seconds or
He's
something.
won the player the series numerous times. He's always in that battle, top 3, top 10, and he's one of the. And he's just exactly like you said. I like that legacy grinding. I'm gonna use that sometime. I'll make sure I give you credit on it. That's good.
That's all good.
I've never heard that. Another guy that's, if you will, just in that kind of legacy area of does it the quiet way. I would say Stephen Chidwick, who's maybe regarded as the best in the game, or one of the best tournament players in the game. Also, Timothy Adams. This guy's so impressive. He just seems to always be there at these final tables. And I look up and you check his hand and mob, and he won the main event, I believe, at Jeju or Montenegro, maybe Jeju it was.
Let me, if you want an exact count, I can
And
give you that.
he's just always around, and he's one of those guys that's not. He's more quiet. He's not such a. Doesn't do a ton of stuff on social media and those things, and he's just kind of peacefully does what he loves and does it the right way, and everyone really says such positive things about him.
Yeah. 13 big blinds deep. Linus gets it done.
Linus leaning. He got to see. He definitely opens it up, man. He's not afraid to shove it in light.
Yeah, we're gonna enjoy a short break here. These guys are gonna take a short break, getting three-handed, getting ready for the battle for the 700,000 pounds first place prize. Don't go anywhere, of course. We had a lot of highlights already. We'll be showing you guys some of those. We're gonna continue today with the conclusion of this final table and then the 100,000 pound main event here at the Triton series in London. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It's time to go all in.
And now the river card.
With the best players in the world.
It's a jack.
At the highest stakes.
The new main event champion.
Poker Go is streaming all the action.
I'm all in.
Can he seal it? Yes, he can.
Live on all your devices. Original shows.
Helmuth wins the championship.
And over 100 days of exclusive live events.
Subdues the river comes home.
This has got to be a first in the history of poker.
Get in the game. Subscribe now at pokergo.com.
Shuffle up and deal, guys. Good luck.
Using the green with checks a turn. I like it. Big chance his opponent has a hand similar than ace king, and he's not folding anything better. So what does a bet really accomplish?
No, it was last year.
Last year? Was it last year? Are you sure?
Yeah, it was the first time I ever played Barcelona.
First one is small though.
Yeah, maybe last year. I forgot.
It was a big 10K. It was a lot.
It's like 300K or something. I think.
Yeah, I have.
Is the big tank is at the end?
Yeah, it's not the big one. It was the first one. Yeah.
Very small bets.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly what Burns has.
I get it in like ace. Never mind. Bad beat, sorry. Fuck that. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I mean, I ran deep in the second one and I got fucked. GG. Will you go Barcelona?
If I was or if I'm going?
If you're going.
Yeah, I'm going. But I'll just play the 100.
8?
Maybe later I just do the main event, I guess.
Yeah. 10K maybe? For the fans, man. Linus for the fans. Come on. The numbers were wrong. There's like 5x pot, yeah. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, sure. I was annoyed.
That can't be right.
Unless the numbers were wrong, I don't know. I mean,
no, it looks like that.
Yeah, it's like 5x pot. It's me and you, yeah?
Yeah, he jammed 4x.
5x.
Carry.
I was watching the stream yesterday. I was having a good laugh at your suit with the Columbia Sportswear hat.
Yeah, to be honest, it's just the lights. I'm sensitive to light. And
No,
the lights are so fucking bright. Like, I tried to even today do it, and it's just like I get a headache.
No, yeah, I don't get a headache.
1.8, 1.7.
Do not enjoy it.
We'll find out.
Sure ahead.
Right, blind on blind. This is not a snap call for Leuliger. He does not want to lose the chip lead.
Get one of the
Having the chip lead is
Alright.
very valuable. Does make the call.
Somebody was saying the stand-up's outdated.
It's too strong in a big blind.
Somebody saying standing was outdated.
I know that Soiz is also going to go all in with hands like King 5 suited,
but fuck it.
Ace Deuce offsuit.
Okay.
There's way more overcards than there are overpairs, so 6 is just going to do
You don't be flipping against Linus.
pretty well.
Pure. Oh, sorry about that.
He has to lose someday, he says.
That's the reason why he gave it a little thought. Early on in the tournament would be snap call.
Uh-oh.
That's
too good.
He remains
You
pure.
got a couple of turns.
Yeah, you have quite a lot of turns.
Uh-oh.
Hater and Jack.
You're almost
Seven's okay.
You're almost guaranteed to sweat.
It doesn't even have
Picture?
swag.
Or
He's a dog for a sweat.
7, yeah.
Almost guaranteed.
Almost. Okay.
Okay. GG. Good game, boys.
Good game, buddy.
Michael Soiz, our first elimination today.
Luck in the 100.
He is going to win £122,000. The rest of the field guaranteed £160,000, which is roughly $200,000.
Gary put you in the blender.
Straight in the blender.
There's 100K there for Linus.
Yeah. He said get in the box, kid. All of the G.
Pressure here with King 5 offsuit. That is the world for Luke. It's a double-sided coin though. On one side, he's gonna abuse people having the chip lead. On the other, it's important for him not to lose the chip lead because then other people can do it to him. So covering everybody is very important. Small bets. He's gonna get lots of folds from Luke also because it's very likely Leuliger will bet on the turn in the river, exercising that pressure that we talked about. That might slow him down. He does have the emergency spade, by the way. That's pretty interesting, so he needs a spade or a king.
$850.
He's gonna bet it. See, this is where it's just cool to watch somebody like a Leliger play, because I just kind of expect that he's gonna check, see how he fares. His king might be good. He beats a 9. He beats some like 6-7 suited type stuff, but he just wants to put pressure. So he's like, my king could be good, but whatever. I just want to put pressure. I just want to play it fast, make his life miserable out of position. Greenwood's still going to be really comfortable with ace-9. Doesn't like the spade, of course. Leliger is going to be way too aggressive in this situation to be too afraid of ace-king here, though.
Call.
Greenwood announcing call right as the timer ticks down. There is that emergency spade coming into effect. Disaster for Greenwood.
Check. QPU. Sorry? QPU.
That's a rough one. Greenwood now down to 25 big blinds. Linus gets richer. Makes hands like this a lot less strong than they actually are. I really like this fold from Carey. I really do. There's a definite table short stack. There's some other guys in trouble. Actually, Carey's one of the bigger stacks now at the table. So, kind of taking turns who's going to get the most abused by Linus. And we might just see an all-in here from Linus, and this would be crazy normally if welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You see it at the top, £25,000 final table. 3 of the world's best, grinding it out. Linus Leliger here, chip leading the tournament. Gonna bump it up to 500,000.
Yeah.
Very strong hand, especially three-handed.
I have 12.
Make a pair, no one does. King, queen, still in the lead.
Greenwood's very good at these spots from the big blind, just like his brother. Studying a lot.
So with three-handed, that means that the 2 events that Linus has played, he has final 3'd, 2 for 2. That's quite a stat. Nice to get on the podium 100% of the time. Do pretty well in the tour, if that were to be the case. This is a good start for him. I know if he wants a title. I think Timothy does, he, as we mentioned, had the Jeju main event, Triton win. I don't know if the Greenwood, any of the brothers, if they have a win per se, but I know they have great results all around. And Linus, you would know better than me. I don't think he has a win. Maybe he just was playing. He was playing the cash games last time.
He's playing cash games and some tournaments, but it's just cool to see that somebody goes from, you know, he's like the latest edition of the crushers from online. You know, where you used to have like the Justin Bonhamos, the Isaac Haxtons, and then you actually got, you know, people like Timothy Adams, Mikita Beczykowski. They all went, you know, they were all in the early 2010s where they were crushing, and they would start playing live. And I mean, Linus is the most feared online no limit hold'em cash game player in the world.
you start at that level too, when you get that kind of reputation. You've heard some of the sick heaters in poker history, such as Fedor Holtz, Dan Coleman,
Him and that.
who else? Justin Bonwell, of course,
2.3,
recently,
like
that just go on these tears where there's confidence with that. People start getting scared when you're playing like a guy like that, where everyone's like, oh, he's like a wizard, GTO, he knows every spot of every game. When you start now, it's like, all right, well, I'm supposed to defend King 8 off in the big blind in a spot, and you're just like, you know what, I'm not gonna mess with the guy like that. That really does matter. That type of confidence and fear you instill in your opponents, it goes a long way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's kind of the Phil Ivey effect. I've never seen people get so many folds as Phil Ivey does when he raises a big blind, but we might get some action here. Luke Greenwood, excuse me, actually has a chip lead after those last few pots. Knock and carry cats out has propelled him there, of course. And Linus is just going to call with the 5s in the small blinds.
Yeah, these are interesting spots because, you know, you couldn't argue three-handed for him to make a raise with this hand, or even jam or something, depending on how many blinds it is. But it's interesting that Timothy Adams is just so short comparatively. He's on 10 blinds, and there are big pay jumps between third and second. So I think you could see Linus go either way, but maybe that was the reason. And Timothy Adams used the time bank chip here. And again, I don't think it's not a meta game. It's just kind of him thinking, do I really want to peel here with this hand versus two opponents? What am I going to do if I hit a little piece? And as we see, he does make middle pair. It's a tough spot. It's really one of those tricky hands to play multi-way. But I think he just thought, my hand's too good. I could flop a flush or flush draw. And, you know, I'm going to take a flop here.
And some flop this is. I'll lead out at this. Nice thing is if he gets raised, he can still call, but he's also going to get a lot of folds from hands like ace-queen. You know, and this is something that he could do when he has a hand like 8-7 as well. Just like lead at it sometimes.
Yeah, and if you're Greenwood, you're like thinking, well, okay, so he's leading out. I have aces, and Timothy looks interested as well.
There's a lot of tips in the middle. I mean, if Adams were to move all in, he'd just double up even if everybody folds. So if he thinks there's a big chance that Linus is messing about here.
I think he's going to go with it. I mean, he's just so short. He hits a pair, and if you see Linus lead with 5s, now this is a spot where he could be leading 7-8 or there are some draws, some spades. Timothy doesn't have a spade. He may just say, you know what, I'm going to go with it. But he does flat call. And this is a bit tricky of a spot for Greenwood all of a sudden. You do have aces, but that board going to connect with, you got a raise, a bet and a call, and he's trying to think, how do I proceed? He's not so worried about Timothy, right? Like if he somehow were to double up him or gets in a weird spot, but he's got to be very concerned with Linus's stack here and what's going on. What do you do if you're Greenwood in this spot? I mean, I'd imagine going to find a raise, but it could go on either side here. Obviously can't fold, and he is ahead, so I mean that's not even a consideration. You have aces on a low board, but
yeah, it's really tricky, right? Because if Adams had, let's say he had the nuts, right, the straight, or he would probably be doing the same. He's gonna raise.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it sort of comes down to what does he expect Linus to do. If Linus somehow had a set of 4s, a set of 3s, a set of 6s, would he lead out with this scenario?
Mm-hmm.
You have Adams who's so short and may just jam. You expecting probably a c-bet from Greenwood. So it does call. And Timothy going to find a way to get out of here.
What's important there is that even if Timothy Adams would have gone all in, Greenwood would not have the option. So the max that Leliger would have to pay there is like 500 more, and he does hit the straight on the turn.
What a card too. Just in case you want to worry about somehow your opponent is raising with big 2 overs and a flush draw, you get the clean of the clean. You got to know that Greenwood just doesn't have 5-7 in this spot. First of all, you block 2 5s, so I mean, it's just the money of money cards. He's so tricky too. Like I've seen him he has so many different ways of playing his hands, and this is going to be an interesting spot for Greenwood too. Can't love that card. He doesn't have a spade in his hand. He could put Linus on a flush draw. Just players have history. I don't know here. This is not. You see the 0% for aces on the turn. So this hand is locked up for Linus. Barring a 5 would come and they would be chopping.
There's not that many 5 combinations that, you know, Greenwood's going to be up against, because Linus knows Greenwood's the chip leader. Like, what am I going to do here? You know, call a small blind with 6-5 suited? That just doesn't happen. So
right.
Greenwood's still going to be very comfortable. We see him firing out 1.5 million here.
That's a great point. What 5s is he flatting, especially when Tim Adams has that jam stack? Like is he even going to call ace-5? He blocks ace-5, but he's not calling king-5 suited. He's not calling 5-6 suited in the scenario. So it's kind of it's absolutely
5s or
disgusting,
no 5s.
Right? Yeah, that's it.
And then you just go back to the point. Well, this is Linus, so if it's hard for him to have the nuts here on this board, you know, and what else? Like 6-4, like all that stuff is just not there. So Greenwood has to be incredibly comfortable in his hand. He gets put all in. Needs a count. I understand the frustration.
Yeah, it's also with him having no spade really does matter here, because he's just thinking what hand. Like, could he have a hand like 7-8 suited? But what do you call that pre-flop? Does he have king-jack suited, king-queen suited? And the sick part is that Linus is so in tune to ranges as well. And this, he knows that by shoving here, that's literally what he's repping, is 2-5. So there's not that many options, and it's just he's putting a few time bank chips in.
Yeah, this is headache.
This is aspirin hand, yeah.
When you're playing against a mediocre player, or let's say somebody that's just solid, this is much less of a tough decision. But you're playing against one of the best no-limit hold'em minds in the world, and it means that he's going to take advantage of you wherever he can.
It's a 6 box. If he does somehow have queen king or jack queen of spades, some kind of hand like that, which he would maybe turn into a bluff in this spot. It's like Greenwood's actually in pretty good shape against that, because he has aces. He's just there's no over. There wouldn't be an over. It'd just be the naked flush draw. The problem is when you are against the 5s, you're 0. It's just and Timothy's so short.
Yeah.
His head's spinning. You can see it. It's hard to put Greenwood, any of the brothers, into this, and he's. Those time bank chips, he didn't quite, you know, Stephen Chidwick all of them in, but it's different, same way. Like, you know, emotionally, he's ready to use a lot of them, and he's trying to work this situation out. Maybe a little bit. Why did I bet that turn? Could have just checked and then decided on the river, but he didn't want to maybe give a free spade. Poker's like chess a lot too. A lot of times guys have already decided, if I bet and he does this, it's going to happen. But maybe in this spot he just didn't anticipate to get check ripped on, whatever his holding was. Timothy Adams loving it. He's short. He's looking for a confrontation. He's thinking, well, if the chips go all in, there is a way someone can get knocked out. Or even if they don't get knocked out and there's a call, someone else is going to be super short. So this is great for Timothy Adams. He is just hoping for a call. He's like, he can feel the jump. He's thinking, man, I'm a genius to fold that jack 4 suited. I put a time bank chip in. I hit the flop. I got away.
Yeah, but you see that, you know, Linus has 5s. That means he's gonna have 7s and 8s and stuff pretty often too. And he could play that the same. Lead the flop, maybe hope Adams shoves, gets Greenwood out the way, and then you raise, and they're obviously gonna stick around for one time. So on the turn, you're pretty comfortable. You're like, how many 5s does this guy have, right? Like we just discussed that.
Yeah.
Pretty much only pocket 5s, and then.
I think he may ultimately make the call. I think that's a good point. What does he do with 7s and 8s and 9s and such? He does call.
Makes the call. Pocket 5s. He's going to be disgusted. Yeah, indeed.
Right. And so it is. Timothy is going to sit down. He realizes that is going to be a full double, but that will leave Greenwood with 2 million. So Timothy and him are going to essentially have the same stack. And this is those dream situations in poker. You're the big stack. You're 3-handed. Your opponents want to pay jump it. Just close your eyes, rip it in, and who wants to man up and take a shot at putting their chips at risk in 3rd and 2nd. So we may just see the Linus show. This may just be a blind ripping.
Yeah, he can pretty much do whatever he wants now. He has 20 million against, like you said, 1.8 and 2 million. So if he goes all in on the button, neither of the guys want to bust. Like all of a sudden, hands like ace-8, ace-9 don't look that great anymore when they're short. So we're about to see some fireworks in terms of action, I think. I think that in most of these situations, Linus is not going to be looking at his cards anymore. He's just going to play the dynamics of the table. Because if we look at the payouts, third place guaranteed £307,000. There is a £160,000 jump. That is almost $200,000. The difference between finishing third and second. And that's exactly what Linus is going to leverage against these guys. You want to call me with King 9 from the big blind when I go all in against you? That's fine. But you're wagering a $200,000 money jump.
Yeah, this is going to be cool to watch because again, it is as we say, you can close your eyes and shove, but there are, I'm sure, a few hands he might not put in. It's probably like 98 or 9%, but it's just fun to watch people maneuver in these spots. It's so rare you get this actual like same exact stack with such a lead and such a talented player. This is going to be fun to see him operate.
8 big blinds for Luke Greenwood, 7 big blinds for Timothy Adams. What a disaster for Greenwood, and Adams all of a sudden from being all but gone in a spot where you can make 200k more.
690 in pounds. Big money. 25,000 pound buy-in. It's quite the ROI. That happens when you get such large amount of entries. Payouts get juicy, and we're gonna get to see it right away here. On the button, he's thinking,
All in.
and he actually has a really nice hand to do it with. It's just
one.
Timothy's interesting. Okay, well, so
1.
I mean, this is one that's just
50 back.
Yeah, there's a limit.
It shows you though, like it's like what. Be more interesting to see ace 9 or 10 or ace 8, but I just think this particular one is just basically the nuts.
There's a limit to what you can fold for sure. I mean, he's still going to be ahead.
Right.
A ginormous amount of times.
And he's lucky in a way because Linus has ace 5. He would be shoving 5-6 and queen 4 and 9-10, so he'd be live.
Yeah.
He actually happens to be dominating because this is a bit unlucky for Linus in that sense that he's just shoving blind in this exact spot blind, I would assume 2-3 or anything.
Yeah.
So Timothy Adams saw him cash the £1 million turn. He did get it in.
Pocket
Kings and knocked out. He hit a 1-outer though on the bubble, essentially 6s to 10s, and he turned to 6, and 6 was dead.
Wow, that's a 5 for Linus. This is really another rough situation. I mean, at least he's top 3 now, but we've seen Timothy Adams at the worst of it, but he's not out yet. Yeah. 3 kings left.
Jack or queen makes it extra interesting. He doesn't have backdoor flush draw. You see, this is the exact reason why putting your chips at work. You even want to see a count. Like there's a scenario. Let's say Greenwood had only 3 blinds. Maybe he probably would fold. There is a cutoff where he's going to risk himself. So
yeah. All right, now an ace good too.
Yeah, not the worst turn. Picks up additional outs. Linus is thinking. Is it going to be heads up or is it going to be a little more work? And that is it. Timothy slides the chips over. A bit frustrating to go out like that, especially when it was a scenario that he was in a great position to be held back in it. But again, third place. Tournament poker, you get top 3s. You're going to be sticking around the tour for a while, and that's exactly what Timothy Adams does.
Game 10.
Walks away. Doesn't seem interested to talk to anyone in this spot. Probably a little bit frustrating. It's crazy because he's had 2 cashes in the 2 events he's played. The first 2, the $1 million and the 25K, but it just doesn't feel good. That's part of the tournament poker. It's tough. Like it's just so rarely do you just like happy because.
Yeah, and this is one of those spots where if you spend more than $1 million or $1.5 million, if you spend $1.5 million on buy-ins in a week, it's really important once you get to the top 4 to get lucky enough to clinch a win.
Again,
that's where all the money is. That's where the biggest jumps are.
I know. I thought you might do some, I don't know. You're capable of doing some stuff there, I think.
think that's an understatement. You're capable of doing some stuff. Yeah, I mean, probably shoving 99.9 only if
I
you
think
maybe
it's 14,
had used the
15.
restroom. Even then, he'd probably shove and go. I just don't see him folding any hand there.
Yeah, this is 6 big blinds deep.
Okay. I have a
Jack high.
Oh, I have a.
Oh, and dominated.
Oh no.
Lean show.
Alright, and this is all fun and games, but there's 230k pounds difference between first and second. Second will win 466,000 pounds, 690,000 for the winner. Will it be over in one hand?
There's also the hallway at stake. You get your picture in that cool
yeah.
hallway to show that you're a Triton champion.
Yeah,
And
nobody
Linus.
remembers second.
Yeah. And does have spades. This is, anything can happen.
All right.
Yeah,
interesting.
Good flop for Greenwood. Picks up additional outs. There's Dan Smith interested on the sideline, taking a look. Fresh off his third place in the £1 million Triton event, plus 50,000 for charity. That is number 4 on the all-time money list now, Dan Smith.
Needs a 10 or a 9, or it's lights out. 3-handed could be over in just 2 hands.
Shout out to Joe Gyron there, taking photos on the rail. He's just everywhere. He was there till 4 a.m. last night, and that's gonna
Doesn't
do it.
We have our champion, event number 1, Linus Leuliger. One of the best online, making big splash on the live scene, taking home 690,000 pounds. Also took 3rd in the 50k event number 3 last night. Sure, we'll see both of these guys in the 100,000 pound main event that is started, so don't go anywhere. We will be getting those tables up on the stage for you guys.
And Linus rocking those Triton sweatpants, all ultra comfy, gets the win. Over £1 million in cashes through 2 events, 25 and 50k, buying great ROI. And as you mentioned, he is on fire, and he's saying maybe this tournament stuff's kind of fun.
Yeah, pretty sure we're going to see more of him. He doesn't get too much action anymore online. People have just kind of given up a little bit battling him.
It's unfortunate for the tournament circuit. If cash games he was probably happy with, he's like, I can't play. I got to somewhere. They can't shut me out of these tournaments.
There's always a new sicko in line.
I did get my 7.5 hours of sleep.
Did you really?
Yeah, I mean, it's about at 4.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had to skip breakfast, but.
Are you able to sleep like after finishing a session? And you don't?
Yeah, mostly.
Oh really? Okay, that's good. And how was this tournament? How was it today? Was it just pretty?
No recall that, Kate? Yeah, I mean.
It looks like we're preparing here for an interview with the winner. Here we see the final, the 5 final standings. Luke Greenwood getting second. Pretty sure any of these guys will be back in the 100k. Michael Soiza busted first today. Gary Katz, was very nice to see him. Really another notch on his axe in terms of tournament poker. Performs extremely well on these 25ks, and he's very talkative today, very nice. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see the same thing that you guys are used to in the main event. Even in the £1 million, we saw a lot of table talk. Can't wait to see what tables we're gonna get. Action just doesn't stop really, and it's because these players never stop playing. It's tournaments, then it's cash games, and then they play tournaments again, and then there's two final tables at the same time rolling into the main event.
Yeah, it's really Triton providing essentially a playground for the high stakes players, getting to come in, get to rebuy, get to have fun, get to battle. Got the high production, has the trophies, the website, the updates are incredible. Even I noticed they show the full list of caches, like playing. Yeah. It'll show you who's played. It's not just, which Hennemob's great, but it's like, oh, this guy's got 20 million earns, but maybe he's got 30 million binds. But on Triton, they literally keep score. It's like this guy's played this many events, and you can see what's going on.
Yeah,
it's
really
unbelievable
cool.
Updates.
Especially because the guys are really liberal with re-entering, and Ivan Liao putting 5-6 bullets into some main events is not a rare sight. So
no fear. Want to remind everyone that you don't have to wait long if you want more action at Triton. There is going to be a Millions Europe here at King's Casino in Rosvedov. Kicks off with the Triton 100K on August 11th. You can go to Triton and Party Poker Live websites for the full schedule. Didn't realize they were combining there, but that's pretty cool. So Triton's all over the place. I would love to see Triton keep coming, keep adding on stops, piggybacking on tours. It's very cool and really, really special stuff here. So we got to see a treat to see Linus operate today, and I'm sure he'll be in the future stops. So I think we're going to get an interview here coming with Marley Cordero on the stage with our newest champion, Linus Loliger.
I am here with Linus Loliger, the champion of the 25K. It has been quite a week for you. You played this event on day one, took some time off, played the 50K, and now you're back. How did that structure work for you, and how did you manage that?
I thought it was quite nice. I had quite a few tournaments to play and no downtime pretty much. So yeah, I had a lot of poker to play and it worked out.
Do you find the busier you are, you kind of get in the zone, or?
Not necessarily, no. I wouldn't say so.
With such a strong online background, is this something that you've always aspired to do, have a big live tournament win?
Yeah. I mean, taking home the trophy is definitely something to write home about. So looking forward to that.
Awesome. We can cross it off your list now. We're going to have you sign the camera lens as a Triton tradition. Yep. Let's see here. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to be back with the main event, 100K, starting later.
Thank you, Marley. From our champion, enough poker to play. It's really nice that there are so many tournaments and cash games in one spot, especially when people are traveling.
Do you know what he was playing?
Immediately,
Just like
we jump into the main event. 100,000 pounds.
You know how he looks like?
No.
Like curly hair, like.
Andrew.
Yeah, you can Google him.
Michael Turrets. Talk about old school players.
Okay. Maybe I played with him.
One of the friends played like a. He found out it was bought on the
Yeah,
app. He
I
played
know
with
this
that,
name, but I've never
didn't
played with
adjust
him.
the
I don't
bet
know
sizes,
much
so
about
he
him. I
just
haven't seen
split
him
it
in
hard with
forever.
one
Or
BB
heard of
bet
his
or
name in
something.
forever, but I know the name.
Those
other things,
folding a lot.
You
Like,
have to know like the brackets they
Yeah,
choose
yeah,
and
yeah.
then like be banned.
yeah, he won like
Because-
60k. They fixed it. It was fun.
Okay, he folds to that bet size. So
Yeah, just like a small lead or
34%
something.
instead of 33.
Yeah.
Both players missing. Jack 7 offsuit, gonna give it up. King high
He
was the
playing
best
the
hand.
Aria I probably played against. That's
They're
exciting.
like, who's that weird new guy?
I think he's the coolest Northern Ireland player, actually.
Yeah, I think
Because he was very good even before the solvers. You know, he
I
was
think
like
he
playing very
had his own solver.
He has his
though.
own. He
Yeah,
has the
I mean,
first one actually
Really?
to have one, I think.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was, he was
I'm
the
pretty
first.
sure. I'm pretty
Exactly.
sure.
But
He-
I think
him and
he
Ken-
doesn't mind to like deviate from
Yeah.
like to
From
play a
stuff,
very
yeah.
complex strategy and just be like, okay, I'll know my intuition will be right, and
Yeah, okay.
I'm happy to
exploit in that sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who are they referencing? Did you hear? I would like to know who has the first crazy solver in poker, supposedly.
Because he had a fucking first solver.
Yeah.
So boring.
Really happy that we get to see more of the Swede. Michael Turrets, one of the first online crushers, plays all the games, has played in the highest cash games.
Yeah, I don't see him very much.
He haven't. I mean, I think like people figure it out because everyone was just studying how he plays.
Yeah.
Dan Smith, fresh off his monster score yesterday, 3rd place in the million pound. Well, saying with the little
I think
9-7
stud games
offsuit.
should be more popular.
Sorry.
You know, you can't build a solver for the stud games. Like too complex. I think that should be the next game.
Or just expose like 1 or 2 cards before every hand.
Yeah, I heard about that one too. But yeah. But still, even if you would do that, and you would still play like, let's say you would like be very close to solver, you still play excellent. I mean, even with one card gone.
But I mean, online it's no bot setting. They figure it out.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
quite
yeah,
safe.
The problem can always reoccur, I guess, in some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think freeze out tournaments do an okay job of like counteracting
Fold.
the solver because you just can't play like that, or you're taking these 0 EV spots for your tournament. You know.
Yeah.
and there's no real way to estimate what you how to account for the like the not busting aspect.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it becomes complex, I guess.
Yeah.
Like in, cool.
Do you think that's like a very huge percentage of like it costs you, like if you like always slightly too aggressive